Well, there goes the Daverhood, my beautiful wife, whom we see. Hello. Oh my God, we actually got to see the adorable and darling and wonderful wife Joyce briefly in the Daverhood. But yay, how are you, my love? Wait, can you hear me? Oh, now she's unmute. Unmute. Hello.
I was trying to okay, so my vision is crap in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to change my name, rename Joy
Oh, yeah. Oops. Do you
the
want me to take you out of the best night plan? So I will explain the jerry rig nature of this particular episode of Dave's Con, but much better, well, much better anonymous person whom I sort of know and who's really really cute on camera but doesn't want to be seen, and whose name everybody has already forgotten there, that last name. So how are you, my dear?
good. I got my tea,
Good,
which is
good.
nice. I'm
And
happy.
you've been getting me a bunch of tea all week long because, by the way, let me explain. I'm Dave Lefkowitz, and this is the 856th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebook. Is it the 56th or the 57th? I'm not even
I think
100%. I think it's
50,
50.
last time was 55, wasn't it?
So this is 56. I don't have a sign. I
Yeah.
don't have my brains about me today because
Look,
after.
I can look on the past show. I'll look.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
see.
please do.
I'm
Um,
gonna I need to inform the public.
after 2.5 years almost.
Yeah,
Two and a
last
half years.
David, June 25th was 8:55.
Fantastic. So this is the 856th episode of Dave's Gone By, featuring me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife Joyce, who is not Joyce is not in another state. Well, she's in another mental state, of course, but she's not in
I'm in an altered consciousness state, baby.
not in another country. She's literally just upstairs, and I've
Hmm.
been downstairs all week. Not because we've been fighting, not because of anything like that. No, but after March 2020, when the whole world changed, and we were careful, and I worked for a place and was off for 2 months because the place was closed, and then went back and was careful and masks and this, and then changed jobs and went to another place and worked not with a lot of people, and there was no excuse me, no theater to go to. There's nothing to do much of the time. Don't go eat in a restaurant. Have been more careful than 80 to 90% of the friggin' population of America. And yet, this week, old Dave became a statistic. Old Dave came down with cold Dave. And yes, I am now one of the many numbers of people who has some kind of variant of Omicron. This is the COVID version of Dave's Gone By, the rather covert version. So I'm in a whole different room, the room that I've been essentially sequestered in, except for the occasional walk, for the past 5.5, 6 days. So far, my wonderful wife Joyce feels fine, doesn't have it, thank God. And here's what it was. I know exactly how and when and where I got it. And it wasn't as you might think of when I was having sex with a farm animal. That went fine. We were both very, very careful when that was happening. The zoo master was there overseeing everything. So, no, it wasn't the farm animal sex at all that gave me the COVID. It was the last day of school. I work in a school district um, of little kids, little kindergarten, and I never have to deal with the little brats. Never. I never see them. They're in different buildings. We work in a department that services their technology needs. So we're away from them in our own little world, in our own big building. Just got a little smaller because we got another person working there now, but still pretty big for the amount of people who work there. We're all separated. We're all great. We're all fine. And then the end of the year rolls around last Friday. And so it's like, yay, because our summer hours start for the whole summer. And it's good times, except it's going to be really busy for us. This is our busy time. Fine. But let me just pull away this Zoom, this Facebook window is distracting me here. Okay, so on the last day of school, our outgoing superintendent, very nice man, very capable man, but also a man prone to wanting our school district to be very friendly and open. He was never for closing schools. They did remote. When I first got there, everything was remote. It was a very messed up year. But he was all about people in person and being together and this. And it's like, well, you don't really want people in person that much and being together that much during a very long and evolving pandemic. So he rolled with the times as best he could, and that's fine. But it was his last day, and he wanted to do something special for us, meaning the teachers. And again, the students were gone. They gone home. Bye-bye. Didn't have to see them. Go fine. God bless you. See you in the fall. But he wanted to gather all the teachers together and the administrators and then have an outdoor party celebration for the end of the school year. And it's like, okay, and why not? The man's leaving. He's done a good decade or so worth of service in that position, entitled to his thing. Fine. But it's like we're thinking, all right, there'll be a nice speech. A couple of people will say really nice things about him and hand them some gifts, and well deserved. And his secretary's going out with him, not going out with him, but they're both leaving at the same time. Let them enjoy their retirement. Let's give them a fond farewell, a big old salute. Oh, and there's free pizza, right? So at the
No, David, it's the free food that draws people from. I bet you people came from Albuquerque.
for free pizza. I would come from Albuquerque for free pizza.
When you say free pizza, or like for the grad students or so students, if you say free food, it's very enticing.
Well, as being married to me, that I was a member or am a member of the American Theater Critics
Oh,
Association. And what brings theater critics, jaded, old,
yes.
angry, middle-aged, white, male and female, theater, gay and straight,
Yes.
mostly straight ones, to the theater.
Yes.
Gay critics shouldn't go to the theater anyway, but the straight ones, if you say free food, and it can be the most, hey, we're doing a terrible improv Italian show, but you get like 5 strands of spaghetti and a glass of water. You come in and say, free food! I don't have to buy my own dinner, because the critics make no money, right? But, so at the end, a carrot on the end of this thing is you get free pizza at the end of the event. Thank you very much. So we go to, and it's work for our department. For everybody else, it's the last day of school. The teachers, they don't have to show up again until late August, right?
Really?
They're done. Yeah.
Wow.
No, the teachers, they have to work their syllabi all summer long if they're not just going to repeat the same day. We're talking about teachers of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th year olds. They'll change their videos out a little bit, and it's still 2 + 2 is 4, 4 and 4 are 8, 8 and 8 are sorry, I have brain fog here. But so the teachers, this is their they want to go home, right? Go home literally for the summer, like football players at the end of a season, whether they've won the Super Bowl or not. They're in the locker room, they're clearing out their gear. Either they're incredibly celebratory or we'll get them next year, but they're gone, right? And the admins have to stay. And so not only is it not such an exciting day for those of us who will have to come back on Tuesday after July 4th, but for our department, because there was technology involved, there's a big video screen and microphones for speeches, and it's outdoors, and people were going to apparently start playing things off their phones. Now, my crew, not my crew, the crew I work with, they've got to be ready to troubleshoot all the tech of this event. So we don't get to sit back and enjoy even this last day. This is a day when we're working and we're sweating bullets every time someone picks up a microphone and it cuts out. And they're like, oh God damn. Yeah. So not an enjoyable start to begin with. And of course there's technical difficulties because we never do this. This big outdoor event for about 150 people, teachers and staff and stuff. And we're not used to dealing with that. We're used to fixing and getting kids laptops and programming them and making sure the Wi-Fi is going and all of that, not having special events in a tent outside. Whatever, whatever. It's a beautiful weather. It's a gorgeous day that we did it on Friday. And the superintendent starts to make some comments, and he's well spoken. He's very charming, but he says, I'm not going to talk for very long because I've got a special surprise for all of you." And we're like, is he going to come out of the closet? Because we know. But no, no, no. He's like, there's a motivational speaker who goes all around the country, and he's quite famous in certain circles, I guess, for going to being on these reality type shows where he's a guest, and for going from school to school and different corporate cultures and different things, and just psyching everyone up and motivating them to be great and better. He's just high energy, and he's fun, and he's funny, and and here's so and so and so and so. And big applause. His music bursts. When we finally get the music working, which takes about 5 minutes, his music bursts on.
Delayed. It's like, this is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but a whimper.
Yeah, that's right. Well, wait, or that was from what, The Wasteland?
Yeah, it's like, here's the person you've all been waiting for, waiting for, waiting for, waiting for. Waiting for. Hello? Can somebody turn on the tape?
And if you think I'm high energy, right? I mean, this guy's like double. So he's trying to keep his energy going while Arthur's trying to get just his music started. And he's fine. He's good. And he's trying to talk to people. And he goes on one of these risers that's just above the ground. And he goes towards the end, towards one side of it. And the other side, like a seesaw, starts to lift up.
Oh, no.
I jump out of my chair and I slam my foot on the other side of the riser to make sure he doesn't go tumbling off of it. That was fun. I mean, it wasn't that dramatic, but I made my contribution. I think I saved his ankles that day. And he said, "Oh, he's fine. Thank you, brother. Thank you." So he moves back to the middle of the riser. And then everything starts working, and he starts giving this obnoxious spiel about elevate, motivate, like he's the kind of thing that would work for a group of inner city fourth graders, which he's probably done for a million inner city fourth graders. But he's talking to, 100 jaded, middle class. All the teachers make a hell of a lot more than I do. Most of these teachers make $80 on $130,000 something a year, right? And they've just gone through a whole year of trying to deal with children during COVID, children with devices, teaching children, right? Day after day after day, 5 days a week. Because you're a university professor, so you will teach. You'll see them twice a week, and maybe a little bit during office hours, and that's your thing. You'll do an hour and a half twice a week. And these guys, they're in there from like 7:30 in the morning, 2:45 every day, all freaking day, with these creatures, and day after day after day. So this guy thinks it's his job to motivate them, to love what they do, to inspire, to make the next level of graduates. And first of all, there's an idiocy to all this, because why is he telling them this on the last day of school? They don't need to be motivated for what they do to recharge their battery. They need that on, let's say, August 29th.
Do you remember the song? It was like, no more teacher, no more books, no more something, like end of summer. Like I never went to summer school, right? I mean, so, but I do remember kids who had to go to summer school, and our school wasn't air conditioned in summer because they believed in a form of shame and torture. So like, I remember thinking, like, I never throughout, went to summer school, but I remember thinking, like, the last day of school was very joyous. We had parties. I'm sure we had pizza. We celebrated. Everybody was like, see you in the fall. It was more like a closure. It was a closure. Yeah.
Well, that was the idea behind this. Was very nice. This guy was going to give us a big motivational closure to lift our spirits, to get us boogieing and dancing. He tried to do that. and to remind us of how important it is what we're doing. But the guy, we figured, I think, okay, this guy's going to be fun. And he was fun for 15, 20 minutes.
Mm.
I swear to God, his spiel, and he gets paid thousands and thousands of dollars for this shit. He had an hour, and he took his full hour with a bunch of people who just wanted to go home, right? And he's just going on. He's saying, "I got 10 more minutes. I'm not even. I got 10 more minutes. 9 more minutes. No." I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, but let me tell you, as somebody who's done this before, like not in that style, but I've done it before. I will tell you that the organizers told me of the presentation, please don't end early. Like they asked, yeah. So like they told me one thing. They said, don't go up there with a bunch of slides and bore people, right? You have to be interactive, given. And they're like, make sure that you are in sync, read the audience, right? Drink your tea when you're, be in sync with the audience. And then they said, people expect to be there the whole time because this is either a keynote or an ending thing. So you need to make sure you fill the space. So I'm sure that's what they told him. Like, don't end early, don't end early.
Well, then that's even more
insane. I don't know. That's what I've been told. I don't know.
You might be absolutely right. And also this guy's paid to give his hour-long spiel, I'm sure. And he's used to that's his thing. It would be weird for him to cut off his stuff, although he could have easily done it after 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes. And he brought on one of his little, his helper team people to do a little bit of mindfulness for like 3 minutes of sit in a pose and trying to be mindful about something. I'm like, okay, this is pleasant, because he shut up for 3 minutes. And then, and also it's a big tent thing, and we're sitting in the front. So we're near the speakers. He's a big, loud, raspy speaker.
Wow.
Speakers are pitched to 11. So I'm like, God, this man is right in front of me, and the noise is coming at me. And he's just on and on and on about the same stuff. And of course, when you're like, it's even like me when I go past the third hour of this show. So there are times he's saying shit that doesn't even make sense. I'm like trying to parse the sentences. And it's like, what? What is he even talking? He's just babbling. This is a motivational speaker. This is what they do. They're so full of shit and they make so much money. It's meaningless. And he's selling his own T-shirts, and he's making sure we all know his website.
We weren't allowed. I was, but it's academics. I can never sell. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it was completely, as much as he was trying to motivate us, it was all about him. Me. If you think I'm me, and look, if you're tuning into my show, to the Dave's Gone By show, to watch Dave Lefkowitz, I think it's going to be all about me. That's a given. But to corral us, to keep us hostage, albeit outdoors in a tent on a beautiful day, to listen to you about you and your life and your this and your that. Who are you? He wasn't even a graduate of our school. He knew stuff about our town because he used to shop at Green Acres when he was a kid. When he was, he told us that. So that, that got us on his side. Fine, great. Yes, Green Acres, remember Models, but it's like, but he wasn't even. I could understand if he was a school district kid made good. I get that completely. It's sort of like when we were at UNC, and Beth Malone came as a teaching or as a guest artist or something like that. Beth Malone was a UNC student over in Colorado, and then she went on to either get nominated for, or I think win a Tony Award for.
She came back, right?
Yeah, she came back to she's a well-known Broadway person now, and so UNC is of course very, very proud of her. And she came by and she hung with all the teachers, and I get it. She's a homegirl. But this guy was not a home by. Well, he was a home by.
I think you want to, whenever you get a speaker, a motivational speaker, what they tell you is to try to elevate and give people things to think about and inspire. But
so get Kurt Vonnegut, not this repetitious. This guy with
but you don't know
gospel-y thing.
You don't know. The thing is, David, you're looking at it from your own perspective and your own gaze. You don't know how the kids felt, the teachers, like when
For the
I,
little kids. Yeah.
whenever we speak, we always get a survey. So what would have been nice is if they would have given a survey, because even not for the school district, but for the guys speaking, it tells you, like, I know what people liked about it.
Well,
I don't know
I'm sure there were teachers there who
who
got
gave,
into it, who enjoyed like
yeah,
the boogie and the audience participation with the dancing and line dancing and all this crap. But meanwhile, I'm also thinking this is going on and on. We're
mhm.
all basically unmasked except for a couple of people in the back. You know,
That was the problem.
yeah. I
That's
thought
the
this would be
problem.
an hour long, the whole thing from beginning to end, including the pizza. And
Yeah.
then after that, we sit back down. Now the superintendent has a few words, and he does not tend to go on and on. He's very good about that. And I would
Yeah,
have liked to have listened to him
yeah, me too.
for an hour rather than this
Yeah.
idiot.
It's his, I think he probably was trying to be generous,
Oh
but
yeah.
when somebody leaves, like especially him, I would like to hear, or if not, if he doesn't want to say stuff, maybe a written reflection or something like about his experience would be nice to read or hear. Yeah.
Or a 20-minute speech from him with a couple of
Yeah.
short speeches honoring him and then honoring the other people retiring, and
I,
then
you
a
know
little
what would,
motivation of all of us, and then and there was also video, and again it was a cute comical video of the type that our district loves to do about all the staff and the people, and it was 20 minutes long,
wow.
not 5,
They
not
should they
10.
should have had, when your superintendent was speaking, they should have had a slideshow behind him of all the
Mm. Well,
presentations.
we had some
Uh,
picture stuff, which was good. But
yeah.
by the end of all of this, and then there were people, rose flowers and plaques to the people who were retiring and leaving. That fine, great, wonderful. An hour and 55 minutes into this, we go to the back table and get our cold pizza, which has been sitting out there for two. Maybe I don't have COVID at all. Maybe I just have hepatitis. I don't know what you get from food that's been like hovered over and spat on or Lord looked over. So I grabbed 2 slices because I'm freaking entitled at this point. After all the technical difficulties in sitting through all this, and meanwhile, and I know this. I know this. I'm trying to have my food, and I have a conversation with someone higher up in the admin about something that we have to talk about, right? I don't want to have, both do not want to have this conversation at this particular moment. We know we're going to have it. It's not a bad conversation, but we know it's an important one that we're going
Maybe,
to have in a week or
maybe
so.
because you're hungry. You
Yeah.
want to eat your foodies.
But I got my pizza, I got my mouth open, eating, and we're talking. I say, no, we're not going to talk about that. But how are you? What you're going to do? He'll be working on Tuesday. He doesn't get the summer off, and he's talking. And I know, and knowing this man and watching him, I see as he talks the spittle
Oh God.
coming from his mouth. It is. I'm looking at his mouth and the spittle. Now I'm not directly in front of him. It's not necessarily landing on my face or on my food, but he's also not far away from me. And I'm thinking, if there's a moment when this day, this annoying day, is going to rebound and kick me so hard in the ass, it's right now.
Mm.
And wouldn't you know, I felt fine the rest of Friday. I felt fine all day Saturday. I did the show on Saturday. And then Sunday afternoon, everything great. We went to the farmer's market. We come back. I'm doing some work. I get up. I go to have like a little beverage, and I swallow in a funny way, right? Kind of like gay people in a bad porn film, but I swallow it in a funny way. And, and it hurts. I don't know if that was for the hurt part or for the bad joke, but and then I swallow again, and again every time I start swallowing that day, it's painful, and I'm like, oh no, no, this is what happens all my years when I'm getting like a head and what do you call a nose cold, a sneeze, a sinus, or whatever. I haven't had this in incredibly long time. No one's gotten head colds in 3 years. Isn't that amazing? But suddenly, day and a half after this event, now I'm like, oh no, no. And there are times when this has happened to me when I've gone to sleep that night and woken up and it went away. And I was hoping, I get up Monday morning, the swallowing's a little better, but I know by the condition of my eyes, I can tell by like in my ears, my throat, I'm like, oh no. I'm going to, at the very least, old Dave has his first cold in a very, very long time. But I go into work because our school does have or has had during the school year testing, free on-site testing at one of our locations. So I come in and I tell the boss, hey, I'll be back in like 15, 20 minutes. I'm just to be on the safe side, everybody stay away from me. I'm wearing a mask just for the hell of it. Let me go. Because I did it a couple of times over the past 2 years and tested negative, no problem. I figure, let me make sure it's just a cold. I go, they do the sweep, 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 and the sweep, sweep, sweep. I come back, and my coworker, who's a really lovely man, hands me a box, and he says, well, what do you wait for? Take this now. He's Chinese, in case you can guess from my racist accent there. He's like, no, and he hands me a do-it-yourself COVID testing kit. And I'm like, and it's got there's like 15 instructions on this thing. And I'm like, I will do this at home. I promise. I cannot deal right now. He was right. I should have done it right then and there because I would have walked out the door, driven home, and gotten into bed. Because when I finally got home, Joyce, you were witness to this. I opened the kit. We figure out you helped me as I poke the hole in this and then squeeze the this and put the in the up around this. And it says, wait about 15 minutes and you'll have the result. You'll swirl the swab thing into the goo. And in 15 minutes, you'll have a result, right? Didn't take, what did it take, like 45 seconds, hon?
So I used to work in an OBGYN clinic, right? You know, in my past life when I was an HIV counselor. And when you take a test, if you I mean, there's sensitivity and specificity, but nobody cares, right? But anyway, if the test is a good test of something and you are waiting longer, it means you might be in an earlier stage. So if you're a little bit pregnant, you got to wait a long time. You wait the full time for that test to turn. With you,
However,
as soon as you took it, you lit up. Yeah.
yeah, no, I lit up like, as Randall Patrick McMurphy would say, I lit up like a Christmas tree and paid off in silver dollars. Within 45 seconds, it was like, oh, you are riddled with COVID. And it's a tiny little testing thing that you look at, that little, looks like a flash drive. And it didn't even just have the 3 lines. It spelled out, you are riddled with COVID. And I will continue this story a bit later in the show to tell you about my week off with coronavirus. I'm getting over it. This is my 6th day. So I still have residuals of my cold, but I feel
you look good. Your color is back.
I'm able to scream the way I usually do.
But you
yeah.
just make sure you drink your tea.
I'll be drinking my tea. I got my coffee. Thank you. Joyce has been taking care of me a lot, which is very rough for her because COVID is a lot scarier for her than it has been or ever would have been for me. So she's still got to be 100 times more careful.
It's why we call it the N95, baby.
Well, yeah. But now I'm going to go out on the street and kiss people. Fuck it. As soon as this thing goes away, I've had it. I'm done.
No, that's not true. You could get it again.
Rebound, I know. But rebounding to this program, a man who has been here since the very first episode back in 2002, the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon. Sometimes he does our rabbinical reflections. Sometimes he just has fun with us, but he often does our interviews. And he's very excited to be doing an interview today with a playwright who has an off-Broadway show coming to the Tank in Midtown Manhattan. It's called A Black and White Cookie. The playwright will tell you about it. His name is Gary Morgenstein. In fact, we're going to get the playwright telling you about it while we bring Rabbi Sol into the Daverhood. Let me get him here. Let me share my screen so I can find a bit about the show. Will this work? Okay, I'm now sharing my screen. This is good. Now I'm trying to find the video of Gary Morgenstein, and then we'll get the live Gary Morgenstein talking to Rabbi Sol Solomon right here on the 856th edition of Dave's Gone By, live July 2nd, 2022. Come on, Gary. Here we go.
I'm the author of a funny new drama about racial harmony, A Black and White Cookie, which was scheduled to premiere March 26th at the Theater for the New City in Manhattan. And like everything timely because it's about overcoming prejudice. You had an elderly African-American newsstand owner and a 1960s-style Jewish communist who forged an unlikely, sort of a modern Amnat Rappaport friendship to overcome prejudice, confront corporate greed, and confront their own mortality. And I think it's a good sign, and it's a good lesson for all of us as we confront this horrible disease, coronavirus, to remember that we're all humans and we're all members of this planet. And it doesn't matter if borders are closed, it doesn't matter if we have self-imposed isolation, we're in this together, and we must find ways to come together. So I hope you keep following the play. It's produced by the wonderful Ego Actus, EGO, ACTUS, and it's directed by the incomparable Joan Kane. Features a brilliant cast of Jim Frowick, Rosalind Seal, Chris Pisano-Collins, Julie T. Pham, and Mansoor Fuji Al-Allah. So please, keep in touch, and God bless everyone. Stay healthy. Red wine and yoga helps. Namaste from Brooklyn.
Namaste right here with me, Rabbi Sal Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches, as I chat with that man right there who just blessed all of us. Isn't that lovely? We just got our blessing, which really is my province. Gary, you keep your hands off the blessing part. I do this. But we have with us in the Daverhood playwright and novelist Gary Morgenstein. He is the author of, oh my God, several other pieces, including A Tomato Can't Grow in the Bronx. I get it, but we have to talk about that. And also 2 novels of dystopian futuristic baseball fiction, my favorite genre, including a book called A Fastball for Freedom. But most importantly is that a week and a half from now, at the Tank Theater on West 36th Street, you can watch Gary's play, A Black and White Cookie, which has an important radical leftist Jewish character, which I'm not necessarily, but also talking to a Schwarzer man about politics, about life in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you please welcome to the Daverhood, Gary Morgenstein. Shalom, Gary.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi. How are you?
I am good. It's good to see you. You're looking good. You must be thrilled. This is a play that was supposed to be off-Broadway. Oh, I don't know, like March, April of 2020.
Yep.
Go figure.
Man plans, God laughs.
This is true. This is it.
We got canceled the week before, and look, more than 5 million people died. I'm not going to fetch about that. But God works his wonders in mysterious ways. And now here we are at the Tank. We're going to be opening July 14th.
28th. We were supposed to open July 9th.
I don't want to give a kudahara horror anymore. The play is even more timely than it was, because it's a play about that there's more that unites us than divides us.
Really?
Yes, I do think so. Yes. And it's through the friendship between this gruff conservative African-American newsstand owner who finally reopens his newsstand in the East Village after getting shut down from COVID, only to get hit by a huge rent increase, which he can't afford. So he's going to close and retire. Enter a Meshuggah communist Jew, Albie Sands, who says you must fight back. Now, they overcome their differences, including anti-Semitism. And what the play looks at, the play uses anti-Semitism because no one else is writing about it, so I might as well. You think, maybe, to look at what happens when good people are prejudiced. And that's what the play is about. I'm not worried. I don't know about you, Rabbi. I don't remember the last time I saw some neo-Nazis outside my bagel place. It's the good people who look away. It's the good people who say, well, you know how those people are.
I say that about those people all the time.
Right.
Oh, God.
Because everyone's those people. So that's what it's about.
Let's be honest, particularly the Puerto Ricans. But we'll get on to that later. I'm kidding. I'm joking, of course. Just teasing with you there. But no, but have you, this play has had readings, and it's been done in other places too. And it's even, there's a couple of ways on YouTube that you can watch parts of the play as well. So it's been, have you ever had this thing now, because everybody's so pardon the expression fucking woke at the moment, that how dare you, a middle-aged Jewish man, write a black character? Have people commenting on it? It's like, no problem. Yeah, of course you can write the Jewish guy, but how dare you try to impose your background in writing to create a black man?
No, because of the three leads, two African American. No one has ever said anything. When we premiered, we finally premiered in October at Silver Spring Stage outside Washington. The director was was a black woman. No one ever said, because it's not about that. I'm not telling the story, a black story, about this. I'm not telling that. I'm telling the people's story. People happen to be Jewish. People happen to be African American. People happen to be this and that. And that's what I'm trying. My point is I'm trying to get. We're so fixed on hyphenations, and I want someone to come at me. I want someone woke to come at me, make my day, and say, I can't talk about anti-Semitism. Although I will tell you one thing, I did pitch it early on to this theater company, which I will not identify. I told them the paragraph, the artistic director, the Jewish theater company, wrote me back and said, I will not do any plays about anti-Semitism that are not written from a perspective of a black, indigenous person of color.
Wait a minute.
And I just looked at it.
Wow. So this is a Jewish theater company, Jewish artistic director, saying he's sick of plays by Jews about anti-Semitism. He wants plays only by BIPOC people about anti-Semitism.
Yes, because if it affects, if one of the characters is BIPOC and anti-Semitic, they can only write it. And it was like, I wouldn't even write him back and dignify it. There's an interesting thing when you're dealing with anti-Semitism. I don't know how, we could just touch briefly on that. As often as not, you bump up against the other Jews.
Well, I bump up against other Jews all the time, usually single women in their 30s.
I know, I've been seeing those comments online, yes. Well, try again, Rabbi.
Rabbi, what about the play Broken Glass, right?
Well, what about it? The woman wants to pass, or the guy wants to pass. Tell us.
The biggest person who's anti-Semitic are the characters who are the most Semitic.
Oh, this is an Arthur Miller play, one of Martin Miller's later plays that was done on Broadway, and you've got people who are, what should we say? There's a doctor, that they're high level, upper middle class, even lower rich class Jews, and they're the ones who have the most anti-Semitic feelings against Jews, against the Ashkenazics, the ones who come the second wave of the boat folks.
Well, so, they coined the phrase "kike."
Did they?
It was
really?
Coined by German Jews.
I thought that came. I thought that came in from. I've heard so many different.
But I heard. I mean, what I heard.
Came from. Okay. It was about when they had to make an X. Yeah,
I heard. That's what I've always thought.
Right,
but it
tell your version.
Yeah, I did. The German, when the Ashkenazi, my people, came over and they were embarrassed. They had already been assimilated, the German Jews, and that's how they referred to us. You can even go back recently. It's not that long ago that for a German Jewish family to marry an Ashkenazi was a shanda. You were marrying beneath.
There's internal, we all fear the new crop coming in.
Well, always, but it's the depiction of Jews in entertainment. Think about you mentioned my play, "A Tomato Can't Grow in the Bronx."
Yeah.
Which is about a working class Jewish family in 1968. Okay, and opened. It sent to players in Freehold, New Jersey. We sold that, and we're going to be opening at the Chain Theater in December.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. Now, but when we opened, we played in New Jersey. Okay, we had talkbacks. Now these are tough Jews. These are the Jews I grew up with in the Bronx. Okay. People in the audience said, "Gee, I didn't know there were tough Jews." My mother-in-law said that. She's Italian. She said, "I thought only Italians were like this." I said, "What?" I said, "You want to ask 100 million Arabs about tough Jews?" I mean, right? But Rabbi, who depicts us? Who creates that? It's the Jews in entertainment. Like you talk about, we're usually portrayed as orthodontists, as nebushes, or as victims. Think about, this is anecdotal, okay? But I'm going to guess that the dramatic play that has been performed the most in the world is probably The Diary of Anne Frank.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
I'm just going to get
All
close.
right, yeah, all right,
In
maybe.
the last 30 years, what is the most well-known Jewish-themed movie? Schindler's List.
Right, yes.
So I'm
Victim,
saying,
victim, victim, you're saying.
yeah, how often do you see Jews? I mean, I think there was a mini series in early 2000s about the Warsaw Ghetto, but there should be a lot more, or about Jewish freedom fighters. The Holocaust is always about us being led to slaughter or being saved by
Well,
us.
thank God at least there's documentaries about Bernie Madoff. Now there's a guy. This guy can take shit.
Yes,
This is
that's
the guy
good.
who made it rain, baby. Oh
But
yeah.
it's the Jews who do that. It's the Jews who there now. Is it there? Does this go back to, you want to say this goes back to early Hollywood when 6 of the 7 studios were run by Jews, and they understandably did not want to raise their head too high because of the levels of anti-Semitism. But it's grown so much. I mean, the only person who took on Hitler in the movie industry in the 30s was Charlie Chaplin. Everyone probably figured he was a Jew. The movie Mortal Storm with Jimmy Stewart and Margaret Sullivan never mentioned Jews. It was just non-Aryans. In fact, this is an interesting anecdote. Gentleman's Agreement. Remember the Gregory
Yeah,
Peck movie won an Oscar? I looked this up recently because I was just curious. The Jews in Hollywood tried to stop that from being made. 2 years after the Holocaust, and they said the only way we could do this is if we let Studio Fox, run by a Gentile, Darryl F. Zanuck, do it. And it's not.
Censor ourselves. We're afraid.
Yes. Yes.
The poppy can't grow higher than the Goyish poppies. And sometimes it's ridiculous. Sometimes we over censor ourselves beyond even what the Goyim care about. We can do what we want to do. We can have Borat. Okay,
no one cares.
Yeah.
They don't care. I mean, we're accepted in culture and entertainment. No one's saying, "Oh no, my God!" No one. It's just, but we do that, and you see less and less plays about Jews. My play on Tomato.
There is still a level of exclusion for us. Like next season on Broadway, they're going to be reviving A Raisin in the Sun. I tried out for the mama so many times.
You're perfect. You're perfect.
Oh, do not give your money to that bad man who's going to gamble it away. I was so good. But did they hire me, the bastards? Not even for an understudy, not even for a cover, because of course they're all going to get COVID, and I'll get to go on and make my Broadway debut. Nothing, not a fucking thing. God damn them. But anyway, we're talking with Gary Morgenstein about a lot of things, and certainly a lot of Jewish things, about his play, A Black and White Cookie, which, now, is everybody okay with the COVID? Because we're supposed to start on the 9th. It's happening on the 9th, on the 14th.
Yes. Everything's fine. Thank God. I am blessed with a wonderful cast. If I could just please say, Russell Jordan as Harold, Jay Dolan Burns as Albie, Rosalind Seal as Carol, Marina Rebecca Chant as Jan Pham, and Matt Provenza as Mitchell Reed under the incomparable directing of Marcello Rolando. I'm just, to do theater in these times, it's crazy. And they have such, apart from their wonderful talents, just dedication and the perseverance that we all are going through this, but we want to have theater, live theater.
This is off-Broadway, so they're getting a nice big paycheck. Let's not.
They show up for the run. I mean, once I got the money, I can go buy a summer home now. Yeah.
But it's running at a place called The Tank. I've been there. It isn't actually a tank. It's a nice building. It's a nice theater, and cozy too, which is over on 8th Avenue and 36th Street. Get your tickets at thetanknyc.org. Thetanknyc.org. But as long as we have you, I can't, so many things to talk about. Let's completely change the discourse, because you are a novelist and you've lucked into, or just sort of naturally gravitated into, this subgenre of horror sci-fi fiction that has to do with dystopian baseball. Obviously you're a baseball fan, but how did this come about?
Well, I wanted to write it's a Mount Over Hell and a Fastball for Freedom, the first 2 books of the trilogy. And I was, a few years ago, my wife and I were having Sunday breakfast. This is this is how things happen. This is how the sausage is made. Having Sunday breakfast, everything
Don't say
bagels.
sausage. You can't say sausage.
No, everything bagel with a schmear.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Listening to the Beatles. And the idea popped into my head. What about America, which has lost World War III, with a dystopian society run by grandma, where baseball faces its final season ever? And I said, well, that's pretty good. Now, schmuck, you got to write, 600 pages. That's easy. So it begins in 2098, after America and the West has lost World War III to the Islamic Empire. And we're surrounded. And we have a new society run by the family. So it is post-capitalism. It is post-socialism. It is post-woke. And it is a blend of everything. For example, the society is based on families, on friendship, on real relationships. So social media is banned under the anti-narcissism laws.
But
because
now I'm kind of, is it a bad thing or a good thing? Because
I let the reader decide. Because people are happier, there are issues, but there's more of a consensus. So crime is less, but you have less choices. When you write, it's not up to me to tell you if it's good or bad, Rabbi. You decide whether you.
I don't want to decide anything.
You have to decide this.
That's why I read the Torah and the Gemara and the Mishnah. It tells me, can I eat this 5.5 hours after I eat this with dairy? Fuck, no, I gotta wait. All right, goddamn it.
That's so there go the blintzes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it is a positive and negative view, but I'm hoping baseball wins out in the end.
Well, baseball it embodies the old America, because there's nothing preordained that America will always be free, that we always have a democracy. I mean, where is that written?
It changed last fucking week from the Supreme Court. So there you go.
That's right. There you go. So we don't know what's going to happen unless we fight for it. But what about in America, which has lost its will? And how do we get through it? And at the end of the day, it's about characters. And that's why people go to theater. That's why people read novels. You can go to the movies and see all the ridiculous CGI of a half-hour superhero fight where no one gets hurt. Okay, that's a lot of fun. But with literature, it's ordinary people who become extraordinary heroes, who don't just want to live, who just want to get along, like everyone in the world basically just wants really kind of the same thing. Few people wake up in the morning and say, I want to kill, I want to mayhem.
I wake up that way.
Apart from you, but
I
maybe
wake
on
up
the
in a
Sabbath,
murderous rage, and I just get worse from there. I do.
That's what people want.
The process of writing, because you've been a
Yes.
writer for many years, but
Yes.
you hadn't written full-length books before, had you?
Yes, I just finished my 7th novel, yes.
Oh my God, so what were some of your early books?
Well, the first couple novels were baseball. One was called Take Me Out to the Ball Game. The other was called The Man Who Wanted to Play Center Field for the New York Yankees. And actually, I tried out for the Yankees back in the 80s as a publicity stunt.
What?
They used to have something called open tryouts. I'll email you the YouTube link.
Okay, but yeah, I want to share this with people. So you tried out.
There's something called open tryouts in the mid-80s. So you were 18 to 30. You could try out for the Yankees. And in my novel, the main character tries out for the Yankees to get signed as a publicity stunt. So I called the Yankees. I said, can I try out? They said, yeah, just don't get hurt. I said, well, I would like to avoid that. Now, I was terrible because when I was 15, I couldn't hit a curveball. The night before, I prayed to God. I said, look, Mickey Mantle's not using his talent anymore. Can you just share it for one morning, please, just for an hour? But he said, I got other things to worry about than you. I mean, enough already. But I stood at home plate at the old Yankee Stadium and swung and missed. And I was in center field, and they hit a single, so I charged it and I actually made the throw to third base. But I was there. It's the heaven. As a kid who grew up 6 blocks from Yankee Stadium, this was.
You must be enjoying this. I mean, not to get off the topic, but you must be having a very good time this year watching baseball.
Incredible. It's just amazing.
It's way too early to say, but are they like the 98 Yankees?
We'll see.
No Jew wants to say, you don't want to give a Kananga Hara. Is it we're almost halfway? I'm going to say, they're just as good, or they're deeper.
No. And then we have the evil eye. When I was a baby, the story goes, my mother and grandmother were pushing me in the stroller on a Webster Avenue in the Bronx. And this woman leaned into the carriage and said, "Oh, he has such beautiful blue eyes." And then I got pink eye because my grandmother said the woman was a witch. This is the Bronx back in the day. This is what,
Yes. Oh, by the way, our helper there is doing little visual cues there. Can you see that? The little eyeballs? Do you see those?
No.
Or do
No.
only I see those?
I'm just focusing on you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what you should do. A well-trained Jew does, by the way. What is your Hebrew name, by the way? Is it Gerele?
Avram.
Avram.
I don't, I think, again, the story is that the families could not agree what my name should be. So my grandfather said, call him Avram. It makes no sense to anything. That was my family anyway. Very little ever made sense.
I get this. Let me ask you, what's the first play that you ever remember seeing?
Oh, I think
Not
it was Death of
baseball
a Salesman.
play, a theatrical
Death
play.
of a Salesman.
That was with, do you remember it was, in person, who did you?
Oh, it was, I think it was Dustin Hoffman.
Oh my, but I saw that you were not a little kid seeing that.
No, I didn't. I grew up in a working class family where when the lights flickered, you didn't bother to change the bulb. It was so the most important thing we got library cards. But it wasn't until I was in my late 20s that I actually went to theater. I had very little of the culture that many other people did. I played, baseball, stickball and, touch football.
So since you mentioned this, actually, it occurs to me now. We both saw the Dustin Hoffman Death of a Salesman. How did you feel about this very nebbishy Jewish representation of Willie Loman, as opposed to Lee J. Cobb, who was like, gotta go sell some stuff and spit shine on my shoes, and Dustin Hoffman like, I'm back from the road,
Hoffman is such a wonderful actor that he just fills the room anyway with his presence. But I would have liked to have seen Lee J. Cobb. I think I saw a CinemaScope or something was around, I think. At a certain point you remember and you think you saw it and you're not sure if you made it up, if you told someone to impress them, but I think I saw that.
Now,
but
what was...
Arthur Miller,
sorry.
He was one of my heroes, Arthur Miller, as a writer. Arthur Miller, Patty Chayefsky.
Well, he wrote a book about anti-Semitism too, called, was it Focus or Out of Focus or something like that?
Who? Chayefsky?
No, Arthur Miller.
Yes. But he did not write plays overtly Jewish.
Right.
Always. Patty Chayefsky, two of his most well-known, besides Network, Marty, about an Italian butcher in the Bronx, A Catered Affair, about an Irish family. It's interesting.
Well, he wrote The 10th Man. He did write The 10th Man.
Yes, later in his
career,
there was a lot of, and I'm not faulting them because I'm sure it was very difficult at that time. When you're talking about changing your name, you're talking about the blacklist. And of course, they were going to, look at the Jewish writers perhaps a little more carefully than other writers. So I don't, minimize that's why I revere people like a Philip Roth or Saul Bellow, who people were just too bad. Here I am.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Now,
do
you remember the first time you tried to write a creative work, be it a play or a novel or a short story, not as a little kid in school, like in creative writing class, but really sat down as a human grown-up? I'm gonna write something. Yeah.
My senior year in college, I wrote a science fiction novel called A Giant Step Back. It actually almost got published by Doubleday, but I just missed. Almost, But as I'm told, my first creative public outburst was when I was in first grade, and my mother was called by the teacher, and already she's frantic. And the teacher said, through the old-fashioned grilled windows in the school, my mother's looking through the window, and the teacher says, "See, look what your son is doing, and we don't want to stifle him." And there I am with pencils, making up a story with the pencils as characters. And the teacher says, I want him to do this, but all the kids are watching him and not me. So that, my family, there were some whispers, maybe he should be sent to the country. He's a little weird, but,
And of course, they thought you were homosexual.
Whatever. It's bad enough I was the fat kid who played with pencils in grade school. So I was very popular, you could imagine. Everyone wanted to be my friend.
Now, let me
up, yeah.
Speaking of also creative endeavors, that wanted to also know, did you actually contribute in some way to one or more than one Sharknado movie?
I was the mad PR genius behind Sharknado. When I was director of PR at Sci-Fi, I was the guy who almost no one believed in it, and it was my bailiwick to do the original movies, the very cheesy original movies.
Yeah.
And in fact, the story is Sharknado, this is 2013. In June of 2013, Sharknado was almost canceled because there was a series of tornadoes. They hit the Midwest, and the host of the Discovery tornado chasers were killed. So my masters said, maybe we shouldn't show this because it might seem offensive. I said, well, wait a minute. Sharknado is about tornadoes in Los Angeles, which have never happened, lifting sharks out of the ocean and dumping them on the ground. I really, really don't think anyone is going to say how, offensive and insensitive we are. And they said, it better not backfire. So going into Sharknado, Ian Ziering would do no publicity. The only reason he took the role was to keep up his health insurance at SAG. So, and Pete, I was getting some buzz because it's such a ridiculous name. But people, I got publicity and people saying, well, it better not backfire, it better not backfire. And I was like, whatever, don't challenge me because now I'm really going forward. The night of the premiere, the internet exploded. You had Mia Farrow with Philip Roth saying they're watching Sharknado. You had the American Red Cross saying, in the event of a Sharknado, you must do this. It was insane. The next morning, I went to a friend's house to borrow her suitcase. I was going to San Diego Comic-Con. She said, did you see the Today Show today? I said, no. She said, well, they just did a piece on Sharknado and they're going to do another one soon. I said, what? She said, what did you just say? And I sat down, I was like, it was the busiest day of my career. I could maybe pee once. TMI, that's about it.
I pee once an hour, let me tell you. And I don't always get up from my chair.
They were going to have to bring me something. It was all over the country, all over the world. People were calling. Finally, by the end of for interviews and blah, blah, blah. Finally, by the end of the day, I was a little grumpy. I was tired. I hadn't peed in 5 hours. I'm getting tired. I'm hungry. So Nightline calls. They said, we want to do a piece. Nightline. I said, are you sure? They said, yeah. I said, there was just a military coup in Egypt and you want to do Sharknado? They said, yeah. I said, oh, whatever. I give up. And then for several years, it was insane. And I have cameos in Sharknado 2 and Sharknado 3. To me, the best one, the one with the real soul was Sharknado 2, filmed in New York, right? That was just, and now this funny story. Okay, so because of contract delays and this and that, Sharknado, the movie finally started filming in February. Did anyone maybe think we're doing a movie that's supposed to be set in the summer and we're filming in New York in February? No one seemed to be even consider this, okay? So originally-
Because it's Sharknado!
Yeah. Exactly, well, that was my spin. Okay, so in the script, the Sharknado was supposed to hit Yankee Stadium. The Yankees would not let that happen. Well, you can't destroy our stadium. Being pressure. Okay, the Mets said, sure, destroy Citi Field, sei gesund, have fun. So we set the shooting schedule, sets up, it's 15 degrees. And we had all our extras. The call was, it's summertime, come in your shorts and flip-flops. So we had people turning blue and setting up heaters and everything. So that's when I said to people, okay, we're going to have to spin this and say, because it's Sharknado, they changed the weather.
Oh, brilliant. And it worked.
But what's interesting is, and I worked at Sci-Fi Channel, which is part of NBC Universal. So at first you had some resistance, like Al Roker was great. He's such a mensch. Matt Lauer, not so much.
We know.
He was a little, as we know, that's not my business. But what's interesting is, at first when we did we were going to film on the Today Show, Matt Lauer was, I don't know. And then he got so into it. And people just wanted to keep being it in the show, in the movies. What happened was, after the third one, John Kennedy said, victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. Sharknado had 1,000 fathers.
Of course.
So everyone, after people snickering at me at meetings, oh, Gary and his original movies and Sharknado, everyone wanted cameos. So they kind of overloaded it.
Yeah.
And it was
it
a little,
became
you know,
Mad Sharknado world. Yeah.
and because we had things were incredible, like Mark Cuban was the president. When would a reality show host become president of the United States? Are you kidding me? What?
Oh, only when we've gone completely to hell, let me tell you. No, Gary. This is, I wish I could ask more about Sharknado, more about your time at Sci-Fi Network. The only problem is, I have to go to my shul. I gotta go pray and
Please,
holler at
pray
people.
for us.
But you can stay. Please do, because Dave, who is the host of this program, is gonna come back in a moment. And he's going to welcome people to play our weekly trivia game. It's called Today, Yesterday Trivia. And of course, you get to stay and play as well. I'm going to have my special music to take me out of here. But I want to thank you. I want to tell everybody a black and white cookie running July 14th through the 24th at the Tank on West 36th Street, thetanknyc.org. Don't go away, Gary. Don't go away. Or I should say, Avram. Don't go away. It's more to come on Dave's Gone By.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, we're getting Jewy with it. That's a little music for Rabbi Saul Solomon. We thank him so much for being with us in the Daverhood, talking to Gary Morgenstein.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
And author. That's David Sheward. Oh, nice to meet you too, Gary. And nice to see you, of course, every week here. David Sheward, who is was the former managing editor of Backstage Magazine. He was also the former president of the Drama Desk. More importantly, he is theater critic for TheaterLife.com and CulturalDaily.com, as well as the writer of the blog The David Desk. So, David, how are you? Oh, David, unmute.
Forgot to unmute myself. How are you?
Hey,
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Now, Gary is the author of a play called A Black and White Cookie that was supposed to open back in March of 2020. Stuff that happened to me this week. So it will be opening later next week, not this coming week.
July 14th to 28th.
July 14th is when it starts at the Tank in Midtown off-Broadway. So,
and how are you, David?
I am. It took me about 4 days to really, because I thought it would be like a one-day head cold thing. I thought, little cold, I'm used to this. I get over them in 24, 48 hours. Although I haven't had one in a very long time.
Yes.
And then this time I was like, this one took about 4 days, sleeping a lot during the day. It wasn't like I was exhausted all the time, but I would be working or looking at the computer, and then I'd be like, let me just stop now and rest my eyes for 5 minutes. And then 4 hours later, I'd be like, it's 6 o'clock at night. Go figure. So yesterday was the first day I felt like, I'm on the other side of it. But it's still like hovering in the background. I'm on the other side, but it's still there.
Is that why you're in it looks like you're in a closet?
This is the room my father died in.
Oh, cheerful. Careful.
Yeah, this was really my parents' bedroom for last bunch of years, and so I've been quarantined. My wife has been sleeping upstairs. I've been sleeping downstairs, which is our usual sexual arrangement.
No. It's because I can't get sick. I have other stuff. So, and my mother's a nurse, thank God.
Oh.
So she's like, this is what you need to do, and he tested positive really quickly. So he was shooting a lot of virus. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're going to, I think, and you may test positive for a while, even after because the stuff is still in you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm hoping I'll test tomorrow at home and it'll show me fine, and then Tuesday I can go shopping. I mean, like after I feel fine, I can be among people. I can be masked among folks, even though I'm still positive, right?
How many days has it been?
So this is my 6th.
The 6th? I think after 10 days is the recommended amount of time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
10,
That's what.
not 10 quarantine, 10 just having a mask on. And
Yeah, 5 is quarantined.
Yeah, and then, but yeah, I went back. I was out of work, and I took 10 days.
Ooh. Well, that was a few months ago. So
Yeah, that was in April.
Right.
Yeah, but CDC still says 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So CDC, if you look at CDC, which is, for what they are, I mean, they say 10.
After 10 days, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't stay home. Then I'll have to take more sick days and actual sick days.
Oh.
Because these days I get for free from the school and the government because they're special COVID days. Yay! But anywho, enough of that. Let's talk quiz, because Gary Morgenstein is here to play Today, Yesterday trivia quiz. Now, Gary, are you going to make life easy on us and say that you've watched 1 or 2 of these episodes and you know how the quiz works? Or...
No, I'm gonna just, no, I have watched a couple episodes, yes.
Oh, really? So I'll explain very quickly.
But I'm terrible with trivia, but go ahead anyway. I don't mind public humiliation. I'm a writer.
Is Leslie joining us, or we'll see?
She just tried to.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah. So this would be wonderful if we have the gang all here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll explain to everyone very quickly then. And it's the Today, Yesterday quiz. It's questions based on things that happened in history on this date, July 2nd. Could have been 50 years ago, 500 years ago. But Leslie was here.
No, Leslie, there she is.
There she is. Hello, and she has to unmute when she's ready. And each question is worth 2 points apiece. Not sure why you're twice in the living room, Leslie. Hold on.
I just see her once.
Yeah, well, I get the messages of her.
Ooh, her finger's scaring me. Ooh.
Ooh. Sci-fi fingers.
Yes.
There we go. Leslie, now, looks like you're unmuted. Leslie, talk to us. Oh, hold on. I might have to admit you in the other way. Let's see how this works. 2 pianos, 4 hands.
David, just ask her to unmute, Bubba. Ask her to unmute. She's muted.
Yeah.
Send her a ping to unmute. Yeah.
I'm unmuted. I'm here.
Okay. Hi, Bon Bon.
I don't get it. What did I miss?
I don't get it either. It's okay.
Because your wife just called you Bon Bon, and I said to Leslie, hi, Bon Bon.
Okay,
What are you looking at, Leslie? What are you? It's like you're
because I'm on. They came up on both. I want to do.
Oh, I have to mute one now.
I'm sorry.
Is there an asterisk?
Now you're on the floor. Oh, now she's on the floor.
David, just unmute. Ask her.
I know. I'm asking her to unmute. I'm clicking the button.
I'm unmuted. I've got this, and I'm on my computer. And I'm on my son of a bitch.
Yeah,
I'm on my computer where I'm.
Leslie's coming in hot.
And Leslie's muting again. Leslie, unmute.
You can ask her, David. Ask her.
I'm clicking the blue button. Ask to unmute.
You're still muted, so unmute.
I had to pick myself up off the floor, David. I had to get up off the floor, David. Okay.
I see.
This thing. I don't know why this is. It's like a covered wagon instead of a computer. And I have to kind of like push it up the hill and push it up the hill.
Yeah.
So I was doing my cell phone, and I got on the cell phone, and then suddenly it appeared on the computer. So I forgive me,
Yeah,
please.
you're here. Welcome,
Gary,
Leslie.
I'm terribly sorry,
This
Gary.
is
Hello.
wonderful.
And
So,
Hi,
David,
nice to meet you.
I also put Gary. I put a link to your tickets in the chat in the Facebook Live.
Thank you
feed.
so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, so your link's in there. I like your
Thank
logo. It's very cute.
Thank you. The tank did that. Isn't it nice? Yes.
It's lovely. It's a I don't know if David can share it, but it's a paper cup, like a New York paper cup with a black and white cookie. Very nice.
Yes.
That's
They're great. The tank is great. The tank won an Obie Award for their support of independent theater. And it's rare. I mean, they need a shout out because unless you're going to off-Broadway, and actually we're in a 98 seat theater, so we're like 1 seat short of off-Broadway. But because of the expenses, and even more expensive now since COVID, I know everyone's excited to see Back to the Future musical, but for the rest of us who are actually trying to do plays, and it costs so much money to do plays, and the tank, if you pass, they give you the theater, they give you the rehearsal, they're not charging you rent, they're actually supporting artists.
Wow.
And they won an Obie Award, quite rightly so, for helping to promote theater, because it's the theater in New York City. That's the lifeblood that feeds up, up the chain. It goes to off-Broadway and Broadway and regional theaters, and we can't forget that.
Yeah. And actually, for many, many years, my wife used the OB method. So the OB is very important to us. Anyway, are you all ready?
You can't put one out there, Gary, without us picking up.
Yes, I'm ready.
You have to watch your step. It's a minefield.
Everybody see Joyce's
David, how are you feeling?
I'm all right. I'm asked to answer, but I'm getting better. I'm like long-term head cold, and
I'm going to call it the David disease because you both had it and I haven't. So
sure.
Instead of COVID, I'm going to call it the David.
Yeah.
Toy. Yes. Okay.
Now, Gary, did you have you avoided it, or have you had the
I'm good. I'm good. Yes.
Good. Muzzle. So let's.
You and me, Gary. On my screen, we're catty corner. We're the diagonal.
We'll stay away from them.
We're the diagonal to play on the Hollywood squares.
Now, Gary, I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, please. Can you kindly pick a number between 1 and 6 and tell me what it is?
4.
Gary is 4. Joyce is so quick with those little. Do you all see her?
Yeah, I see it.
Her little icons. Okay.
It's because I teach on Zoom, and you have to entertain university students a lot.
Now, Leslie.
Well, I see you're in a different place now with the potatoes. I assume that's the bedroom.
Well, I'm in the downstairs, but I'm quarantined, so I'm away from Joy and everybody else. Come to think of it. So, are you the usual number, Leslie?
Yes, please.
Okay. Gary's a 4. Leslie is a 6. David, are you your usual number?
I'll be a 3.
You will be.
It's like walking into Cheers. We don't even need names. We just have where everybody knows your number.
I'm gonna roll some die here. Let's do it. Oh, David Sheward. This may be your lucky day. Rolled the die, came up 3.
I'll go first.
Ooh.
Surprise.
First in the breach. A 3 again. Leslie, you came up.
I would like to go second. Thank you.
Of course. And then Gary, this just means that you'll be third in the order of the questioning. All right, let's begin this week's Today, Yesterday trivia quiz with all the questions having to do with stuff that happened on this day in history, July 2nd. Here we go.
It's the first time I've been in at the start of the game in several weeks.
And it's only 15 minutes after we were supposed to start. So go, Leslie! Yay! Here we go. The year was 1505, David Sheward. After encountering a violent thunderstorm, Martin Luther declares that he will become a monk.
Okay.
Which of these is false about the TV show Monk? A. Monk beat the original UK The Office to be the first basic cable show to win a Golden Globe as Best Comedy TV Series. B. Seinfeld's Michael Richards was originally up for the role of Monk, but backed out of the project. C. To keep the Monk mojo going after the series ended, NBC created Little Monk, a micro-series of short episodes about the tween-age detective. Or D. The first season of Monk had a different opening theme song, not by Randy Newman.
So which of these is false or which is true?
One of these is false. All the rest are true.
Okay, I think the little Monk one. I enjoyed the show. I really liked it, and I watched most of it, most of the episodes. I think the little Monk thing is not true.
Is that your
What the
final
hell?
answer?
What the hell?
My dexterity is not so good with the COVID, but here we go. Hey, you're the monkeys, and I say you monkeyed around, but you got the question wrong, so I'm gonna roll those dice around. That really did. It was like a micro series of short. I never heard about it.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
Was it with him or was it with somebody else?
It was about a tweenage. So it
Oh,
wouldn't have been
tweenage.
with-
Oh,
yeah.
I missed that part. Okay,
Yeah.
I did hear you say that, but then I forgot it.
I mean, you go to the railroad wax.
I rolled a 2, I rolled a 5, I rolled a 1, I rolled a 3, which is David's number. I rolled a 2. Leslie, Hoban, Blake, a 6 comes up. So,
Okay, so my thinking out loud goes as follows. Mike Richards, I can't imagine playing this role. I mean, it's just so antithetical to the monk inner problem, OCD as opposed to, oh, look at me kind of thing. So I'm going to say that was wrong. So I'm going to say that Mike Richards was false.
and is that your
That's
final
that's the one that jumped out at me. I think the music might also be, but I'm going to go with Michael Richards because I just can't imagine it. Gary agrees with me because he's shaking his head.
Actually, I said, boing, bing, 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 bing. Believe it or not, it is true that the role was offered to Michael Richards and he turned it down. So, Gary, you have a chance to get on the board.
Slap me silly. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You have a 50-50 shot of putting 2 points on the board, Gary Morgenstein.
I'm going to say the Randy Newman.
It's either the two choices are which of these is false about Monk. A, Monk beat the original UK The Office to be the first basic cable show to win a Golden Globe as Best Comedy TV Series, or D, the first season of Monk had a different opening theme song, not by Randy Newman.
I say that's false.
The thing about Randy
The
Newman.
D.
Is that your final answer?
No, it's the first one. I just changed it.
You eeny, meeny, etc.
That's why you asked
The
what's
first
your
one.
final answer.
Yes,
So
that's my
which-
final answer. That
Is
it
which?
beat The Office.
The Office
That's-
is you're saying that's
Hey.
the false one. Okay. Well, this is a very good day at the office for you, Gary Morgenstein, because that is the correct answer. Well done. The Office won for the best first time for a cable show. Well, you should know. You were at the Sci-Fi Network, so
Yes.
you know these
Yes.
things. You actually know that. Oh, Gary with 2 points. Just so you know. And did you know, this dovetails back with the Michael Richards thing, how ironic this is, that at one point, Tony Shalhoub auditioned to play Kramer on Seinfeld.
Oh,
Really?
So how weird would that have been?
I can
Really?
believe it.
Yeah. And
Yeah, because he's so weird. Tony Shalhoub has a great persona.
yeah, it's true. And so is Michael. You can see Michael Richards doing like the autism spectrum thing also, though. It was
Was
just
that-
a very different kind of monk. But I can still see him being,
So
Yeah.
the Office did win
The Office won, and not
the British version.
the UK The Office.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Gervais one. And by the way, Jeff Beal and Grant Geisman won an Emmy for their jazzy Stefan Grappelli style instrumental, which was used as the opening theme for the first year. Then they play it now at the end of the show. But producers still ditched it for the Randy Newman song.
Oh, how about that?
Okay?
Gary, really quickly, you are with Sci-Fi now, or you were with Sci-Fi?
I was at Sci-Fi. I was director of PR at Sci-Fi.
Oh,
Really?
I left in
Because I'm
2006.
very immersed right now. I'm taping the Quantum Leap. They have a Quantum Leap marathon going on, 6 and
Okay.
8 and 10
Yes.
episodes,
Then
and I'm reliving my very past by watching it as well.
Yes.
Because
I
it's full
probably-
of all these wonderful actors.
I
you know.
probably received a lot of press releases then from Gary.
Yes, I think you
Oh.
did. Yes.
Well, and also, Gary, Rabbi Saul didn't get a chance to ask this, but what was it, Joyland? Or there was a show that you wrote?
We actually tried to do a Zoom produced drama series called Joyland, set in 1964 during COVID. And we thought this, so actually, we know with background and everything, obviously people couldn't move around. And we thought this was a brilliant idea. It would be like a showcase, the industry would see it and people would flock to us. And so we were wrong.
Yeah.
we
Well, it ran a
tried.
season, didn't it? I mean, it was done.
Yeah,
It
we had,
felt
yeah,
like
we
it
had,
was a pilot.
3 episodes.
Three. Okay. I was
Did you
just-
see how quickly Zoom produced things, shows with people moving around became a regular thing?
Yes.
It was like that, the blink of an eye. It went
Yes.
from the boxes like us talking to people moving in backgrounds and
Yeah.
trolley cars and everything. So it was fascinating to me.
Oh,
to
we're
watch
getting a
that.
hover car for this show, by the way. In 2 weeks, we've got a hover car coming. It's going to be great. And drones and everything. It's going to be fantastic. Now, what's fantastic is that our brand new friend of the Daverhood, Gary Morgenstein, has 2 points and is in the lead of this today, yesterday quiz. Sorry, brain fog here, which I don't actually have, but I'm going to blame every time I can't think of a word on COVID.
It's
Brain
COVID, right?
fog. But our next question goes directly to Leslie Hoban Blake.
Gary, I must tell you that saying you're in the lead sounds so much better than that you have 2 points. You know, being in the
I know,
lead
doesn't
sounds
it? Yes.
terrific. So
Yes.
So
David,
Leslie,
I would say you have some brain fog because you ordered 75 bottles of ketchup in our Instacart order.
well, that's to feed all the potatoes.
did they send 75 or did they call you and say, is this right?
Hun?
Or is that a joke?
I hope it was.
It's just a joke. Yeah, no, I'm
Oh,
checking.
okay,
I
Joyce.
double
All right.
checked the order. Yeah,
Joyce, you
no.
have such a great deadpan, even on Zoom. It's
Listen,
amazing.
Well, we can't see
David-
your face, so.
you don't want to trust me. David cannot get brain fog. Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah, or worse. I couldn't possibly get a worse brain fog than I was born with.
No, I think you have more to write. You have more creative energy. So
So, Leslie Hoban Blake, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
The multiple choice, and it goes
Yes,
back
sir.
to 1932.
We go from 1505 to 1932.
Yeah,
Very
it's a
good.
kind of a jump.
That's
Fun.
endemic. That's.
Well, you
what's
are watching
going on,
Quantum
love.
Leap. It can happen. So
All
here.
right.
Time tripping.
Yes, you're right. And then
Hold
the
on.
next one is going to be 207. I know. Okay, go ahead.
Well, David, do you have a matinee?
Yeah, do you have a show today, David?
I'm just,
Well, then
you
you know.
I'm just saying.
Born today
We're
in
going away
Atlantic
for the
City,
weekend.
New Jersey, is Rex David Thomas, aka
Say it again.
Dave. Born today in Atlantic City is Rex David Thomas, aka Dave Thomas, founder of the hamburger chain Wendy's. Which of these is false about Dave Thomas and Wendy's? A. It was Dave Thomas's idea to advertise Kentucky Fried Chicken with a giant rotating bucket. B. The very first Wendy's, which opened in 1969, added a small gift shop in 2005 where you can get burger pins, t-shirts, and little red-headed girl dolls. C. When Dave Thomas graduated high school, he was voted, quote, most likely to succeed. Or D. Wendy's is named after Thomas's daughter. One of these is false, Leslie.
Okay, one is false. That's the one that's not true. I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, false means not true.
False means not true.
I'm just
No.
grabbing a cup of coffee. I'll be right there.
Okay. Quickly while he's gone.
No, the coffee's probably in the room. There.
Yeah.
I know.
I have to leave.
Oh, he's back. All right.
This, yeah.
Rotating bucket, gift shop, high school succeed, Wendy. I know he was adopted. I know all sorts of weird things about him because they've done stuff about him all over the place. But I'm not sure about any of the gift shop, I think was one of his. High school succeed. They probably thought he would not succeed. He was adopted himself. So maybe they thought no, but he was adopted into a good family, which is why he adopted children. I'm going to say that they didn't think he was going to succeed when he was in high school. C. I'm going to say C is false.
Is that your?
Yes, since I don't really know, since none of these ring a bell with me.
You're in the brotherhood of Dave. See how to succeed in it. But however, Leslie Hoban Blake, I'm afraid you are incorrect in your answer there.
Okay, I'm 2 for 2. Okay.
Actually, the great part of this is that Dave Thomas didn't finish high school. He went back in his 60s and got his GED. He graduated with that class, and as a joke, they say he'd be most likely to succeed because
Oh, it was a joke with me. Okay, all right.
So it's a lovely kind of a story. I'm going to roll the die.
His life was full of lovely stories. He was evidently a lovely person.
Except he was
Evidently.
homophobic.
Well, aren't we
Oh,
all?
was he? I did not know that.
No, well, when
No, that's not the Chick-fil-A guy. What did he do?
no, at some point, I don't remember when, he was quoted as saying he didn't think gay people should get married. He didn't want them in his restaurant.
What?
Jesus.
Yeah, he had a problem with gay people.
Did not know that. It wasn't in all a compendium of shit that I learned about him.
No,
It's not, that
that's-
was not one of
I
the
don't
things.
think
No,
I
I would
heard.
Google it, and well, fuck him. I'm never, not that I ever eaten.
Well, I
Wendy's
never
anyway.
went to Wendy's anyway, so.
I mean, I did. That didn't stop me. I mean, I did like it, but
Really? No, really?
he took any. He never gave. As far as I know, it wasn't like the Chick-fil-A people who would like give money to anti-gay causes.
Right. Oh, God, I have a list this long of everybody who's giving money to the pro, the anti-abortion SCOTUS and all of that. Everybody from Exxon to, I'm sorry, from Amazon to everybody, just everybody you've ever had to use, Citibank and Amazon. And I'm sick to my stomach because I use all of them and I don't know what to do.
What are they doing? What is this list?
They're sending money to every right wing group they can to keep the anti-abortion so that SCOTUS will go on and now knock down the next level and the next level and the next level.
Aren't they? They're not sending also money to Planned Parenthood at the same time.
No. This was on the woman who has the show. I can't think of her
Oh, the
name.
woman
Who has
Rachel
the
Maddow?
show.
It's on cable. It's on TNT.
Is it
and,
Irish Chacon? Perhaps no.
No, Ira Chacon is not on cable.
B. It's with a B. Samantha B.
Oh.
It was on Samantha B. And she
Yeah.
just ran
Who's
this list.
anti-Israel, by the way, so fuck her. But anyway.
Samantha
Well, anyway.
B said, "What about Israel?"
Oh, she did a whole thing about the Palestinians and Zionism, and
Oh,
so
dear.
I used to
Oh,
like
God.
her, and now I
Well-
You can't go anywhere or touch anything or do anything. Everybody's got the wrong opinion about something.
That's
It's
what
driving
George
me
Orwell
crazy.
said. So let's.
Yes, I know.
But,
I know. The
Ernest,
police say I can't go anywhere and touch everybody anymore. I have to stay 100 feet away. But
whose
Gary,
turn is it?
Yes,
Gary,
sir.
you have 2 points. Guess what? You can get 2 more if you.
And then I would have 4.
Yes.
This is true.
Welcome
He's
to
so
the
quick. Oh my God, he's a quick one.
This is why he does science fiction. Okay, so
Took us. What?
you need me to reread it's been a while. Of,
No, I don't think he named it after his daughter.
is that your
Yes.
final answer?
Yes.
What's in a name? It would smell as stinky because that is not the correct answer. Here's
No.
it's another ironic one because his daughter is named Melinda. So how does it name Wendy's after Melinda?
So
But
I'm
when
right.
she was a kid, she couldn't pronounce Melinda. She would say Wenda. So she called herself Wenda. He named the thing Wendy's.
So her nickname was Wendy.
So here's the deal. David Sheward,
Yes.
2 points could be yours.
Okay.
2
All right,
points,
so-
David.
It's
A lot
either.
riding on this. Don't want to make you nervous or anything, but there's a lot riding on this.
Ah,
Oh, boy.
good heavens. So
The
it's
pressure.
either it was his idea to have the revolving bucket of chicken,
Ugh.
or he had the gift shop. Now I think he used to work for Kentucky Fried Chicken. I think that's where that came. And then he's had his own idea to do his own thing. I think. And the other one is there's a gift shop, right?
In the very first Wendy's, which opened in 1969,
Mhm.
he has added a small gift shop in 2005.
So it's either it was his idea to have the Kentucky Fried Chicken thing, or he had a gift shop at the first Wendy's.
Not in the first Wendy's, in a later Wendy's.
No. Listen to me. In the very first Wendy's, which opened in 1969, in 2005, they opened a gift shop in it.
That's
Oh,
what I wanted to make sure he understood that. He
Oh,
was
okay,
saying
thank
something else.
Well, that doesn't. Okay, okay.
Like it would really affect the answer. but-
No, the first one sounds weird enough to be. I'll say the gift shop.
You're saying that is not true.
I'll say that. Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Well, look at this. I am gifting you 2 points, David Sheward, for the correct answer on that, because the truth is that that very first Wendy's, which opened in 1969, became harder and harder to keep going because it didn't have adequate parking. It was not set up properly, and it broke his heart, but they had to close it in Columbus, Ohio in 2007. Didn't even have a drive-through.
Oh.
So no gift shop, no nothing. It's gone.
Okay.
Oh, so and
Did you hear that the Gray's Papaya on the east side is closing, the last one?
Oh, no.
Oh well.
remember the one in Theater Row? I used to.
No, on the east side. It's further uptown.
Oh yeah.
So it is true that he did work for Kentucky Fried Chicken.
He did, yes, and he
Okay.
thought of the idea of various PR ideas for them.
Well, that was his real strong point, was the PR. That was what he
Okay.
really was good at.
and PR and homophobia.
Yeah.
So,
Evidently, yes.
in fact, he once worked for Nathan's Hot Dog, and his thing was this hot dog going in and out of the bun, in and out of the bun,
No.
and then he would come out against gays. Go figure.
Oh.
God help us.
God stopped helping us.
You're
last
assuming
Tuesday.
it was not a female bun. This is the idea. Was it?
Oh, maybe it was
You see,
hamburger
that's
buns, right?
assumption.
Okay, we have a tie game. We have David and Gary with 2 points apiece.
And I have the goose egg.
So
Couldn't
far.
see, and I thought that was hands, asking to
Penis?
stop.
What is that?
It was a nose.
What the hell was that?
I have 27 screens open. I thought it was like hands asking you to please
Oh, I
stop,
think it was. It
please.
was,
But
yeah.
apparently it was un nariz. It was a nose.
I didn't
Sorry.
see it, so
Let's
Sorry.
see if Gary knows the answer to this question. Because it goes directly to you, Gary, and if you get 2 more points, you get, as we said, how many?
4.
Oh, he still got it. All right, here we go. Another multiple choice. The year was 1865.
I remember it well.
How did I get that out of order? 1865. William Booth, a former minister, and his wife Catherine found the East London Christian Mission, which would become the Salvation Army. Which of these is false about the Salvation Army? A. The Salvation Army owns and operates an off-Broadway theater. B. The Salvation Army inspired the Beatles song Strawberry Fields Forever. C. The Salvation Army is responsible for creating National Donut Day. D. The Guys and Dolls song Follow the Fold takes its music only slightly changed from an actual Salvation Army march. One of these is false.
can you repeat number 2, please?
Sure, I went this morning, but as soon as I have more food, I will. One of these is false. Is it? The Army owns and operates an off-Broadway theater. The Army inspired the Beatles song Strawberry Fields Forever. C. The Army is responsible for creating National Donut Day. Or D. The Guys and Dolls song Follow the Fold is based on, only slightly changed, an actual Salvation Army march. But this is Gary's question.
I know.
I'm going to say 2.
You're going to say
2.
2?
You didn't learn from my mistake. You're going to say
Yeah.
2.
I'm going to go. I'm following you once again.
And they're home.
It's actually B in this case. It's not 2. It's B.
Well, Gary, let me take you down, 'cause we're not giving you 2 points. That is not the correct answer. I'm going to have to roll the die for you here and see who gets to try and steal it. Does somebody have a number 5? No. A 3, though, comes up. David Sheward.
All right. I was going to go with Strawberry Fields because there's another Beatles song that sounds more like a Salvation Army march, and I can't think of it. But
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
yeah, that sounds like it's in the Salvation Army. All right. So they own and operate an off-Broadway theater. They are responsible for National Donut Day, or Follow the Fold by Frank Lesser. Stole stuff from a Salvation Army thing. I don't think Frank Lesser would need to steal da 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 da.
Sorry. Just keep thinking.
Stray no more, fall. I don't know if I don't know too many. Is that like Bringing in the Sheaves? Bringing in the Sheaves, bringing in the Sheaves. It's possible they do have an off-Broadway theater, and it's one of those little tiny ones that are really off-Broadway, as Gary would know the difference. I'll say Follow the Fold is not a ripoff of a Salvation Army song.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Follow Dave Sheward and get 2 points. Get 2 points. You get 2 points. David Sheward's in the lead with 4 points. follow the fold. So yeah, Frank Lesser wrote the song. There's no documentation of anything that he took it from anywhere else. So that is true. I do want to tell you guys, who knew that there is Theater 315 has 99 seats, and it does shows that provide community uplift, and it's located in Hell's Kitchen. It's on West 47th Street and 8th Avenue. Who knew? Plus, John, the thing about Strawberry Fields Forever, John Lennon, when he was a kid, used to play with kids from a Salvation Army children's home. And they would play in the back of it where there was strawberry. And the home was called Strawberry Field. It was in Woolton, Liverpool. So that definitely.
What about the donut?
And the donut thing, this is really cool. The Salvation Army nurses in World War I will go to the doughboys, as it were, and make them donuts in the field.
Oh, okay.
And when they came out of World War I, the ones who survived, they came home and suddenly created this craze for donuts, which
Oh,
not really
interesting.
even thought about. Yeah.
I have to say,
yeah.
I hope I don't get hit over the head by anybody for this, but you know, the way you brought up Israel with Samantha Bee, my sister's dear friend from Australia was here for many years, married to the president of the American Outreach from Australia program of the Salvation Army, and they lived in the Salvation Army housing and whatnot. And they finally had to leave because of things that were going on with the Salvation Army that are not it's not what they say they are. It's not
a Christian organization. No
it's aside from being a Christian organization, aside from that,
And
they
they're
just
homophobic.
don't. Pardon me.
And they're homophobic.
And they're homophobic, and they.
This is
but
National
they also-
Homophobia Day. Dave Thomas and the Salvation Army. What's next, Anita Bryant?
yeah, right.
That's
By the way, did
unintentional.
any of you watch that on Channel 13? And if you didn't, you must. It's a half an hour documentary called The Lodge about older gay people finding housing, and it's for gay people and their allies. And I guess it's in Florida. They don't specify where it is.
No,
But it's very interesting what they're saying. And one guy is talking about, and he says, you know, that orange juice lady. And I thought, how great, he forgot her name. I think that's wonderful. He was saying something negative about Anita Bryant, but he couldn't remember her name. And I thought,
that's
that's
because it has Alzheimer's, not because it's
what
so
she
long. But,
deserves, to be known as the orange juice lady. That's it, no name.
well,
The film that I use is Gen Silent. It's a good film, but it's serious. It's about, you know, LGBT and particularly trans older adults, like reflecting back on earlier life and the experience of being together. And I had a what do you call it? A sorority and fraternity where there were no anybody could join either of them, and they co-sponsored it with a film thing at the university I was at. And one of the kids said to me, one of the college students said, I never thought that I could have a long-term, long-lasting relationship. And I cried, he cried, and we thought nobody, and I had a panel the last night of like, not Angie Zapata, but various people come, speak. And they said, oh, no one's going to attend this film. We pack the house every night.
Great.
Tell
Yeah.
me the name of it again. I didn't hear the name of it.
It's Gen Silent. So it's about the silent generation and other
Oh,
generations.
Gen, as in that kind of Gen. I got it,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Right.
And not only did they pack the house, they fudge packed the house.
No. The weirdest thing was that this institution, they said, do you want police to come? And I'm like, what do you think's going to happen? Right. But it was because
the gay marauders will show up. That's what will
it
happen.
was because one person, someone who was trans, got killed. I think it was
Not at the event.
not at the
before.
film. No, but in the community earlier, and which So, but everything was fine. It was great, but it's a
When they
little
were hit by a
darker.
train, it was an
I
accident.
just want to say, I know you don't stay up late at night, Dave, anymore. I know you have to. You have problems with that. But if you ever watch Seth Meyers, he has Amber Ruffin, and a gay. I'm sorry, Amber Ruffin and a lesbian writer come out, and he said, I have lots of writers, and sometimes they write jokes that I can't tell. And I just wondered whether that was one that you shouldn't tell. I don't know. I'm not in that. I'm not in the community, so I don't know. It doesn't bother me. But
Did the two of them shower together? Because I would stay up to watch that. No, that doesn't do that. No.
Amber Ruffin straight,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and the other lady whose name I can't remember, which
Well,
is
that makes it
terrible.
even hotter. Okay. Another angry face from Joyce. All right, here we go. We finally get to round 2 of our today, yesterday trivia quiz. With David Sheward, 4 points. Gary with 2 points. Leslie Hoban Blake with nothing yet.
Bring up the rear. Bring up the rear.
Speaking of homophobia,
Big
no,
goose egg,
just
what?
kidding. Not
Also,
even-
Thank you.
Leslie, you have won a good number of times. So,
Oh,
you've
you're
been
very
champion
sweet
a
to
lot.
do
No,
that.
you have. So don't feel
Gary, you have to know that David is the one to beat whenever we play. You know? If I do it, I do it.
I don't
But
keep
if I
track of
if I
it.
get it, it's only because I've beaten David or he hasn't been here.
It's just chance.
Well,
Just
but
chance, right?
let's see.
Yeah.
See, because there's a lot of game to play. Even though David,
Oh,
you
yes.
are in front by 2 points, you have 4 points, and you can put 2 more on the board. If you get this special question,
Okay.
and David, guess what kind of question it is?
Clues and 3 clues in the news.
Yes, there's 3 clues in the news, my friends. We all kind of know how this works. So these are 3 words that are not connected to each other, but each of these words is connected separately to the word I want you to think of, and that word has something to do with something that happened in the news recently. Are you ready, Dave? The words are.
Okay.
Park,
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. The words are park, hitch,
Park. Hitch.
trash.
Crash. Park. Trailer.
Is that
Let me just see here. Trailer park. Trailer. Trailer. I can't think of anything else. I'll just say trailer. Oh, because and I know what the thing in the news is. So I'm going to say trailer.
Just say it. Just say you got it. Yeah, say it. Say it. Yes, you're right. You get.
It's the trailer that's with the immigrants dead inside. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, Arizona barbecue. Yes,
Horrible.
that's the true thing. 51 dead in the truck on the highway.
They don't say whether they were all adults. I'm so nervous that they were children as well. I don't know.
Does it make a difference?
I don't know.
I
Well, yes, in a way it does. I know you think it doesn't, but in a way it does.
a dead is a dead. It's sort of like
A
potato.
dead somebody who's
30-year-old
45 has had 45 years. A dead 3-year-old
Well,
has had 3. That's
it
that's
doesn't
the way
make the crime or the.
It doesn't. No. And the horrible thing is that I think because of its location and because of who the people were, nobody in Arizona probably cares. They're only upset that it happened in Arizona. But I don't know that they're unhappy that 51 migrants who weren't supposed to be here are dead.
Well,
quite honestly.
Well, it depends.
Which is the most horrible part of it.
Not everybody in Arizona.
I know, but you
Right.
know.
No, there's 2 guys in Arizona who are a little upset about it, but everybody else in Arizona, no. But here's what I'm excited about. David Sheward has
There's
taken a
6
strong lead
points.
here of 6 points with Leslie next, though. So, Leslie, you're not out of it by any stretch.
Right. All I have to do is double up and then triple, and I'll be fine.
Exactly. But if you get 2
Ask
points
for
here,
some
you'll be
Dr.
well on
Sue
your way.
points. Ask for
Yes,
some
right.
Dr. Sue
Oh, should I
points.
beg for
Yeah,
a couple?
Dr.
I'll
Sue
beg
points.
for a couple of Dr. Sue
Yes.
points. We'll see how I go.
So,
Leslie,
Leslie?
you can ask for some on time points. I'm like, I was
Somebody
here
did that
twice.
on Jeopardy this week. I don't remember who or what the
Yeah.
situation was, but somebody, when the point wasn't given, said something about, well, can't you give him a point for spelling or something? Really, they said it was very funny.
Oh, that's good. But no credit for spelling here since this is a multiple choice. So all you have to do is say A, B, C, or D.
Okay,
But
okay.
the year was 1881.
Oh, you are all over the place.
I know. I'm sorry about that. I know. I just went out of order with one of them. Now
Okay.
we're moving forward. 1881.
I feel like the time traveler's wife. Go ahead.
Yeah. Homophobia.
Well, sorry.
Homophobia.
At least one answer today has to be homophobia, David. At least one.
At least one. Here we go. Do you want to kill a president? Well, Charles Guiteau did. Disappointed that President James Garfield didn't reward him with a diplomatic post for his loyalty.
God bless you.
Yes, citizens. He shot Garfield twice in the back, and the president died of infection 2 months later. Which of these is false about Charles Guiteau? A.
We know everything about him because we all saw. We all
Well,
saw.
let's
Saturday.
just listen.
Maybe we do. Maybe you do, Leslie. Maybe.
Let's
I
just
was
listen.
making. That was heavy. I'm sorry. You didn't see the quotation marks around that. You didn't hear it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
let's just listen.
Okay.
A, scientists blamed Guiteau's insanity on his foreskin. B, at the trial, he gave some of his testimony in the form of epic poems. C, thank you. Thank you for that image, Joyce.
Go on.
C, because Garfield died of infection, Guiteau said at trial, quote, "The doctors killed Garfield, I just shot him." Or D, in order to divorce a wife he hated, he forced her to a local tradesman. He forced her to sleep with a local tradesman and then confessed the adultery in front of a judge. One of these.
So the foreskin thing, is the foreskin thing that he had one or he didn't have one? I'm trying to figure out what the problem was. I don't know. Do we know?
Well,
Do we
we
know
work
what
with
it was?
tips here on this show, so I can't tell you more than the clue is scientists blamed Guiteau's insanity on his foreskin.
On his foreskin.
You
Well,
know,
you know.
That's one of the rejected songs that Sondheim wrote.
Yeah, really?
It's
Yeah.
going to turn up in the next Sondheim review.
We call it flap doodle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too funny. I love that. I want to hear that song now. That's all I can think of is that song.
What was Flap Doodle?
No, I just because of a flap
Just-
and you pull
Oh.
That would be the title of the song that
Right.
Sondheim wrote about
Right.
Guiteau's.
I would not want to. I would not want.
What's all the flap about this doodle that I
I
heard
would
about?
not want to see any images related to that at all.
Yeah.
Someone
Okay.
gave me the shaft. You know. All right.
So
Leslie, we
A
have
is
a question here.
foreskin. Okay.
Use your
All
noodle.
laughing aside. Okay. All right. I know I do it all the time. But now I want you to stop. A is foreskin. B is poem.
Mhm.
C is the doctors killed him. I think that's the best defense I have ever heard in my life.
That's
And
great.
D was his wife. And this is which one is false, right?
Yes, all of these are true except one.
Right. Okay, got it. I, I would have loved him in the courtroom if he actually did say that I only shot him, the doctors killed him. But I actually think that's in the show. I don't remember it, but I think it might be in the show. I'm going to go with the foreskin just because it's so much fun. I have no idea what it.
That's what you said last night. I'm going to go with the foreskin.
I have actually seen a foreskin in my
But-
life, believe it or not.
I'm going to go with the foreskin because it's so much fun.
Ah.
Not hardly. Not hardly.
Is that the
Truly, not
ex-husband?
hardly.
Oh, no.
I don't understand. I think that was God's meanest joke. I always thought it was he played jokes on women until I actually saw one on a live man, and I went, "Oh God, what the fuck is that?"
Wow.
Sorry.
Too much
Yeah.
information there.
I had a hideous. It was. Oh God, revolt.
Too much information.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, so I guess you don't want me to tell you about all my work with HIV counseling and foreskins.
Really?
Yes,
I've never heard of. Honestly.
I mean,
No.
I won't say it, but I was.
I knew
was an
exactly what they were.
counselor. Yeah. I was an HIV counselor when we didn't know what HIV was, and then we knew what it was, and so yeah, there was a
Wait,
lot of
you were
discussion
looking
that
at
I
foreskins all day? I didn't know this.
No, but there were conversations about
Oh.
proper
Oh.
protection and prophylactic use and pamphlets from like we were very close allied with Gay Men's Health Crisis, obviously, right? And so we had a lot of pamphlets, and I think it was that particular image was new to a lot of people, and so so we did a lot of education, but I'm not going to go into
Isn't having a foreskin like a
didn't-
double
they didn't-
condom anyway? You know, it's like
Because they
put it on
didn't
there.
know anything about it. They didn't tell guys to chop it off or anything, did they?
No, but there's different ways to protect yourself. We were all about not being put in Guantanamo, not being isolated or
Oh.
stigmatized in a list, and we were all
Well-
about protecting other people and protecting yourself. That
In
was
this
our
particular case,
Do you know about the truck
stigmatized.
do you know about the truck in Union Square?
what.
There's a truck in Union Square with it's a pro foreskin group. And it's like all of the anti-abortion people.
Oh,
It's
we're
a-
going
it's a
down a dark path.
They show you a baby. It's a little one of those
need
little.
to know this.
What about to be
It's a
continued?
life-size
yeah, no, the
baby,
anti-
I think we
I
should
know.
just-
and it's got mechanical snippers,
Mm.
and they come out, and the
Mm.
little baby it's a little one with a face, and it cries as it's snipped off. And this is sitting there. Children can see it. I
And
mean, if
this is-
children are not traumatized in real life, they're certainly traumatized by seeing this. What?
That's the next Sondheim musical.
Right. It's called This Bris. Yeah.
Featuring the song about foreskin, right?
But
David, and we say Not Without My Foreskin. That would be the musical, right, David? That's the one
That
we
would be
had.
my
David
favorite.
and I,
Yeah.
all right, go ahead.
We set the
Who gets
1920s.
it? I haven't answered it yet, have I?
Yes, you did.
Yes,
You
you
said
did. Yes, you
foreskin.
did.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
You said, I'm going to go with the foreskins because they're so much fun.
And that gave you the opening to
And
say
that
And
that.
that led to
Yeah.
5 minutes of fun here.
I
By the way,
respect that.
if they do a foreskin musical, they should set it in the 20s so they have flappers. But
Oh,
thank you very much.
David.
What?
Go on.
Give him a Mr. Peabody.
Let's keep going.
Well, I hate to peel back this for you.
Keep it moving, Mr. Benny. Keep it moving.
But that is not the correct answer. Scientists they said because he had a thing where it wouldn't roll back all the way, so they said that made it was painful and that made him nuts. Whatever. Not make his nuts. They make him, him nuts.
And his poor wife with being forced to sleep with the butcher or whatever.
Now wait, whose question was that? Was Leslie's question?
That was mine. So you can, if
Yes.
you give
So
it up
guess
to
what?
whoever has
David
the number.
Sheward, you have
Yes.
6 points. This could be your 8th.
Okay. All right. All right. I think in the musical Assassins, I think Guiteau does sing a song about it
His foreskin? No.
at his trial. So I think the poems are correct.
Wow.
I think he did. I don't know. That was Sondheim's interpretation, but I think it's correct. I think that he did say, "I just shot him. The doctors killed him." That sounds entirely plausible that he would say that because he was crazy. And I'm going to go with the adultery thing.
Ooh.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you are indeed the adulterer in the room here, David Sheward. That is the correct answer. Well done. 8 points for you. What happened was Guiteau was actually abusive and terrible to his wife, but he wanted to divorce her, so he slept with a prostitute who testified to his adultery at the trial.
Oh.
So she didn't have to sleep with anybody. He did.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh,
If I was going to answer that question, do I get 1 point?
Yes, Dr.
Yes, Dr. Sue.
no, you do not. Doesn't work that way. And Guiteau had a condition called phimosis, an inability to retract the foreskin past the glands. So doctor said that.
And nobody thought to say, what about a little snip here or there to help you out, guy? You know, nobody thought of that.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Well, that should have, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All of this material was not even in the musical. Wow.
I know, right?
Well, David, here's your opportunity. You know, you could write a whole new musical.
He was
Just about
working on
Guiteau.
Assassins 2 before he died, and then
Assassins too. Yeah.
Yeah, like more dead. The guy
Well,
or tried to kill. Yeah.
sadly, there's a whole bunch of them, but they're not after presidents anymore. They're after children.
What's the score? What's the score?
David
Oh.
has 8, and our guest has 2, and I have 0.
But here's the
Oh,
deal, Gary.
Yes, sir.
You kind of been the quiet man for a bit, but now you get to answer.
I think Gary's in shock.
I'm just having so much fun listening to everyone.
You're not serious, really.
Gary's like, what?
You're too kind.
But here you
You
can.
just have to jump in. You don't get to talk if you don't jump in.
You can add 2 more points to your total, Gary. And still
Okay,
stay in
God
the
willing.
game.
Let's see about that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But
I'm
Your
rooting for you,
question.
Gary.
here we go. Your question though is just like David's question before. It's 3 clues in the news.
Okay.
So if you were paying attention before, it's like there are 3 words.
I
that will
was.
give you.
I also have that answer.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
another point I lost. Get you won't give
Okay.
me. That's all right.
now the answer could be homophobia. We'll find out.
Or foreskin.
So it would be
Yes,
homo,
yes.
and we'd have to come up with phobia. That would be
Or popcorn. Or popcorn.
Here's
Yeah,
your
no
question.
Oh,
That's right.
no.
3 clues in the news. The words are not related to each other. They're each related to the word we're looking for that was in the news.
Mm,
The words are university,
mm.
encyclopedia, nose.
Oh,
Boy, I haven't a bloody idea. I have no idea.
So remember, it can be the word blank or blank the word.
I have no idea. Jewish plastic surgeons, I don't know, is it?
Gary,
That's
if you don't know an answer, you also have the ability to plug your show. So you can say, you know what that reminds me of? This question would be good if I wasn't so busy working on, and then you
A
fill in
Black
your
and
show.
White Cookie, which opens at the Tank Theater July 14th through 28th. And did you know we won a Broadway World Award when we opened in Silver Spring outside Washington in Maryland?
Oh,
I'm just
Okay.
throwing that in.
oh, good.
That's good.
Congratulations.
and get your tickets at the tanknyc.org.
That's better than 2 points.
Congratulations.
Yes, seriously.
So, but I'm going to roll the die though, because that isn't the correct answer to the
Okay,
clues in the
sorry
news.
to
Go figure.
disappoint you.
I
I'm like,
finally
am I the
decided
stupidest
why.
guest you've ever had? The worst?
Oh no.
Oh no.
No, really? Okay,
Oh no.
really? Okay,
Well,
I'm glad to
David
hear that.
Sheward,
Yeah.
you can basically put the game away right here
Oh,
if you have the answer to this question. We'll keep the game going.
loaded
He's
dice.
already put the game away. What are you talking about? He's got
Okay.
8 points.
All right. University, encyclopedia, and nose.
Correct.
NOSE, right?
Yes.
Nose. Let's see. Nose hairs.
Ooh.
Uh, nose piercing. No. Nose ring. Nose. Encyclopedia Britannica. University. Harvard University. Encyclopedia. Oh, Brown. It's Brown.
Is that your?
Oh,
Final
wow.
answer?
Yes.
Yes, that's my final
Wow.
answer.
I was a big fan of Encyclopedia Brown. I love those.
Loved Encyclopedia
Wow.
Brown books. I did.
I
Gary,
did
do you get
too.
how that works? Do you get the
No, I'm clueless. You just lost me.
because the three clues were university, encyclopedia, and nose. So the word that goes with each of them is Brown in terms of Brown University.
Hmm.
Okay. Encyclopedia Brown.
Oh, I had no idea how the game. All right, never mind.
That's why I asked you before we
You know
started.
what?
If
Because
you
you
watch the
didn't
show.
show him the little potato and give him the clues. It was not fair. He really didn't know.
That's all right.
Thank you, Dr. Sue.
That's all right. I think I should get a point for not being told properly, but that's all right.
Oh my God.
I'd
the
give it
reason
to
I
him.
didn't tell
I'd give
you
it
is
to
I
you,
asked
Gary,
you
but I don't have anything to lose.
episodes. Oh,
I've already lost. So it
You and
doesn't
I,
matter.
Leslie, we should just go out and have a drink now. I
Why
mean,
not?
really.
I'm with you. I'll meet you by the
But
tank.
what was in the news this week?
well,
July
Gary,
14th.
Gary, or anybody, I'll give you a quarter point if you say why Brown is the word from three clues in the news.
Brown.
Oh, it can be you, Leslie. It can be Gary. It can be whoever.
Well, give Gary a shot at it. 'Cause
Okay, Gary, do you know why the answer that we were looking for, aside from Brown Nose, Brown University, Encyclopedia Brown, why that word?
I've never heard of Encyclopedia Brown.
Oh,
Oh,
But why
it's your
Brown?
alarm.
Yeah,
But he's asking why is Brown in the
I
news?
know, I know this answer.
I don't
so-
know. I don't know.
Leslie might get a quarter point
It's
here.
Katanji Brown.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
Ketanji
Leslie,
Brown Jackson.
explain. Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew that, but I didn't know Brown.
She was sworn in this week
Oh,
as new, thank God,
Yesterday.
Supreme. Oh yeah, was it yesterday? Yeah,
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, well, the
first
last
black woman
day
ever
of
on the Supreme Court. Yay!
last day was it yesterday or the day before? It was the day before, maybe on the 30th. I
When
think.
they voted to incinerate the planet.
Yes, that's right. That's the day, same day. So on one hand, they're telling us we're taking the EPA and all of it and putting it in the toilet. And here's Mrs. Katanji Brown. So, go do something.
But
kiddo,
that's
right?
America. That really, in some ways, that's America. Where you take a shithole and you sprinkle some perfume on it, and oh, it's a slightly
Something
better
like that.
shithole.
Yeah, that's America.
That's from your play,
Well,
David.
that's-
That's a line in your play.
Is it? It should be.
Yeah,
Which
it is.
play? Oh, okay.
It's
And
That's
in.
our
yeah,
America.
it's in
Let's
your
put it
play.
this way. That's the America we're stuck with now. That wasn't always our America.
And it may not be 10 years from now, but we will see.
And it may not please God from your mouth to God's ears. It should only be on the other side. Somebody showed in honor of it, they said that what's the religious nut female judge
Oh,
name?
Comey Barrett. Comey
Coney-
bitch. Yeah.
Coney Barron had presents for all of the judges, and it showed a row of red robes and little white caps
Oh,
in honor of Katanji Brown.
that's
I
what I'm
thought,
wearing,
yes.
Leslie. That's what I'm wearing right now. You just can't see it.
Like the
That's what I
Handmaid's
also
Tale.
Suspected.
Yeah,
David,
like
I
I
always
understand.
suspected you, you know?
I mean, I was surprised that you guys didn't jump on this when I said it a couple of weeks ago that every person, male and female, everyone at the Togies should have worn Handmaid's Tale
Oh,
outfits.
I didn't, I thought it was a wonderful idea. I mean, I just
yeah.
didn't think of it, but I thought it was a great idea.
Well, thank
I
you.
wasn't there, so, you know.
It probably would have taken too much coordination and all their stylists wouldn't have been happy, you know,
Right,
like,
and
my
everybody would have a
gown
different color
is
red
from
and a
Gucci.
different kind of cap, right,
All
right.
these hairstylists out of work because there's no need. But
Yes.
we move on to the third round of our Today Yesterday trivia quiz with David.
We have
Sheward.
another round? How did he get 8 points and he only in the set?
He doesn't have 8 points; he has 10.
I think he's clinched the
He's
division
clinched
title.
it. I don't
Play
mind
the
playing.
game
I
anyway,
like,
Gary.
I enjoy
Off
playing.
the
but-
champagne.
I mean,
Yeah,
how
let's
did you
keep
do that
going.
in only 2 rounds, David? There aren't that many questions to answer.
Because you and I are not answering anything, Leslie.
Okay, Gary. Thank you
Planting.
for
Oh,
that
I picked the
explanation.
right number.
Did I
Well,
get
David
3/4?
Sheward-
Did you tell me I got 3/4 of a point for saying that?
You got a
that's
quarter of a
Ketanji
point for
Brown?
Ketanji Brown for Brown.
So I'm
Leslie has a
not a
point.
0 anymore. Okay,
There
all
you
right.
go.
All right, let's
David
go with
Sheward, would you
yeah.
like to get 12 points? You know,
Sure.
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 Let's go for it.
Yeah, David, go for 12 points. Go
I
ahead.
will.
I double dare you. Go
I
ahead.
will.
Can I just ask, let's never smart shame anybody, you know, let's not smart shame. Let's always embrace the tall poppy because it's aspirational.
Yes. Well,
Let's
this
not-
I spent my youth being
Yeah.
smart shamed. I know.
And we all have skills in different areas, so.
I don't.
It comes up on my little thing here that you are a friend of DGB.
Dave's
Like,
gone by,
Dave's gone by.
baby. Dave's gone by.
Oh.
Dave's
Oh, that's what
gone
it is.
by.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Not
thought it was
KGB, but the
Thought
DGB.
you were living a secret life there of some kind, and you were.
I am, Leslie. We'll talk.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay.
All right, here we go. Here we go. David Sheward, a multiple choice question for you.
Yes.
The year was 1900.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Premiering tonight in Helsinki. Is the tone... Why is that funny? Premiering tonight in...
1900 Helsinki. Come on, David.
Go on.
Context.
Well, no,
Go
no. Is the tone poem Finlandia
Oh,
by
okay.
Jan Sibelius.
Okay.
The piece was immediately popular, but also risky, because he wrote it as part of a festival protesting Tsarist Russian censorship of the Finnish press. As such, for years when orchestras played it, they gave it different names, including all of these, but which?
Okay.
A. A Scandinavian choral march. B. Heroic poem of the watchful gods. C. Impromptu. D. Happy feelings at the awakening of Finnish spring.
So which of these is false?
Yeah, only one of these was not an actual name given to Finlandia when they played it in Finland.
D strikes me as the most absurd and ridiculous. So it's probably true, but I can't resist. I'll go for the obvious one. I'll say D.
The happy feelings at the awakening of Finnish spring.
Yeah, it's yes.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling happy, David Sheward, because I got to put a frown on your face on this one. You're not getting 2 more points.
Oh,
We're going
dear.
to roll the die. Not that it
David, you
matters.
haven't heard that in Finnish. That's why you think it sounds fun.
Now, did anybody have a 5 or we have a 4 and a 6?
No,
Nobody has 5.
4 and a 6.
3.
You got a little frowny face there and a hand wave. Look at you.
Yeah.
Aw.
You got things on
Did you
there.
put that
Plus,
up
I'm
with the
sad that I
choice?
didn't get another 2
Oh,
points.
I don't even know how to do that. Okay.
Now, I just rolled I think for the first time in the whole damn game, a 4. So Gary
Uh-oh.
Morgenstein, you can get 2 points here if you can answer this question of which is not something that Finlandia was called back when they could play it or were playing it in Finland.
I don't like the Czars. They drove my people out in the 1890s and the Cossacks and the pogroms. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
We hear you, Gary.
Well, I'll read the question again. So, which of these was not a name given to the orchestral piece, the tone poem Finlandia, by orchestras that wanted to play it but couldn't call it Finlandia because of censorship
Czars.
of what it meant?
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
was it A, a Scandinavian choral march, B, heroic poem of the watchful gods, or C, impromptu?
Now, this is the one
It was not.
they
called.
won't, it was not called.
Right.
Impromptu.
Is that your final answer?
It's as good as I'm going to get. I'm still waiting for some basketball questions, but go ahead.
Okay. Basketball, all right. Baseball. But anyway,
Consider the source. Yes, go ahead.
your impromptu answer did not do you good service, I'm afraid, Gary. So
All right, I
Leslie,
need to
you
get
got
a
a
quarter
50-50
point there.
shot.
I would have said the same thing, Gary. That was my
Yes.
answer too. I figured because Chopin had already used it, that they wouldn't have,
Well, this
that
was
would've been-
impromptu too. So
I'm not gonna take the bait
Oh
on that.
my.
and they did a ballet of it, impromptu too. So that was Ahem. Yeah.
So I have Scandinavian something and heroic something. Those are my two
A
choices.
Scandinavian choral march or heroic poem of the watchful gods.
Scandinavian march.
Is that your final answer?
I like Finlandia. It's a beautiful piece.
First time I've done this week. I've stumped the panel.
Wow.
The fake one
Wow.
was heroic poem of the watchful gods. I made that up.
Oh.
All the rest were actual titles used for Finlandia back in the day of Tsarist Russia and Finland. Oh well. We still have a 10.
The Finns were not bad to the Jews. The Tsars were, but the Finns were kind of good. That was another children's book where the children skied through Finlandia to get away from the Germans.
Oh,
I mean, for Finland. I mean, not Finlandia.
yeah, no. I'm trying to make a joke, but I guess we're now finished with.
Oh.
I know. Yes. Sometimes this show is heavenly, but this time it's Helsinki. But okay, let's move on to our next question, which goes directly to Leslie, though. So Leslie, you have a
Okay.
You
Right,
can-
Leslie, get it. Go get her.
Absolutely.
Thank
Get it.
you,
Go
Gary.
Get her, girl.
Thank you, Gary. I'll root for you too. Go
Fighting
ahead.
for both of us, the underdogs here.
That's right. Woof, woof.
we have it's a multiple choice, and the year was 1903. Now this is why we keep these things egalitarian. We roll the die to see who goes when, because this question is going directly first to Leslie, not Gary. Alas, 1903, one of baseball's great early sluggers, Big Ed Delahanty, has a terrible day. Which of these is false about Big Ed's bad day? A, he struck out 5 times, including once on just 2 pitches when the umpire made a mistake. B, he threatened numerous people with a straight razor. C, he drowned in Niagara Falls. Or D, he dragged a woman out of a train compartment by her ankles.
Ugh.
Only one of these is false.
I don't think knowing baseball would have helped you with this one.
No, not really. No,
I really don't think it would.
no.
Okay. So
You play for the Philadelphia Phillies. Do I get a quarter point for that?
He's worse than Dr. Seuss. He's really out there. Okay. Struck out 5 times on two something or others. Straight razor. I can't read my Niagara Falls and took a lady out by her ankles from a train compartment. Okay. All on the same day.
Yeah, basically the same time. Yeah, a day and a half. Yes,
What a day! Wow.
but one of these did
Except
not
for
happen.
one of them.
Yeah.
Except one thing didn't happen. Okay. So I'm gonna say. And then he drowned in Niagara Falls. Wow, jeez. From the train, he was on the train where he pulled the woman's ankles and then he fell into Niagara Falls or jumped in after that day. I will say he did not drown in Niagara Falls.
Is that your final?
Sure. As my good friend Gary would say, that's as good as it's gonna get. That's as much as I can't come up with anything else.
Answer? So Leslie, slowly I turn, step
Step
by
by
step.
step, inch by inch.
inch, and take away the 2 points that you could have gotten if you were right. I'm sorry. What was that, Leslie? I missed that.
Oh, you want me to shout it out? Fuck you, David.
That's
Enjoy your
class right
moment
there.
this
All right.
Sunday. I could go out of my house, David. You can't. Ha ha.
David
No,
Sheward.
that was not
Um,
me. That was mean and nasty and horrible. I'm sorry. I will
Yes,
send
go
you a fruit
on.
basket to
We're all
apologize.
friends here, Les. You know that. So, but David,
Lord,
you have a shot here to
Lord.
get. Sorry,
Yes.
you have a shot to get those 12 points here.
Oh.
Yes, now
okay.
I'm rooting for you, Gary.
All right.
Now
So
it's your turn.
so it's
Go
my
ahead,
turn.
Gary.
Is it my turn? Is it Gary's turn?
No,
It's-
well, no.
All right, it may just be.
I rolled a 3, so
Okay.
you can.
Oh,
skip
so,
the
okay,
question.
well.
All right.
I'll
I think
wait-
the
I'll wait
dice
for
are
it.
loaded, but okay. All right. So
I'm voted.
this
That's the
baseball
other-
player had a bad day.
Right.
And what? So all of these things happened on the same day?
On the
Or-
same day, all
Okay.
of them except one.
Okay. So Leslie
So
said,
he did drown in Niagara Falls at the end of the day, obviously. Wouldn't have drowned earlier in the day, or the other things wouldn't
so
have
you're
happened.
saying that it's possible
Isn't
that
that
this person struck out
5 times.
possibly. Okay.
Possibly right.
So he struck out 5 times, dragged a woman out of a train car, jumped into Niagara Falls and drowned. And what's the fourth one?
But he threatened numerous people with a straight razor.
Oh, okay. All right. So which of these did not happen? But we know that he did drown at the end at some point. Well, it must have been the end of the day.
As Leslie said,
Because, all right. So it's entirely possible that he struck out, got on a train with a razor, was threatening people, and then saw this woman and dragged her out by her ankles, and then jumped off the train and right into Niagara Falls and drowned.
Oh my God.
I think the
The
striking
scenario
out,
is any.
the striking out thing is probably true. The razor, well, I don't know. The razor, and the other one was dragging the woman out by her ankles. I'll say, well, maybe it would be ironic if the baseball thing wasn't true. That would be ironic.
Hmm.
And we haven't had an A in a while. We've had A, B, D, and then a D and a B. Okay, I'll go for the irony and say the striking out. No, well, that doesn't make sense. I think it is the baseball thing is true, the striking out. So I'll say the straight razor is not true.
is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Well, I hate to make a cutting remark, but no, the razor thing is also true, David
Yeah.
Sheward. So, Gary, you can put 2 baseball points on the scoreboard here.
Come on.
Gary, you get to steal the question. Which
Yes,
of
I know.
He's
Okay.
thinking.
I was-
He's thinking.
Okay. Remember Jack Benny, that famous bit in the radio where this comes up to him, your money or your life? I'm thinking. Apparently that got the biggest laugh in radio history.
Yeah.
Well, it was the pause that did it, really.
The
Yes,
pause,
of course,
right.
exactly. It was, yes, talk
A
about when they
very
had,
dangerous thing to do when you're on the air, by the way, having
Yes.
done
but you
radio.
could do it
As-
back then because people respected that. They were patient. You didn't have to tweet,
Mhm.
5 seconds. I'm gonna say, dragged out by the legs.
Ooh.
Is that your final answer?
Or as good as I can get.
Ah, what a drag. I've stumped the panel again. David, your instincts were right. I was messing with you about nothing to do. His day had nothing bad to do, particularly with baseball.
Oh,
He was a very good slugger. I don't know how much Gary.
He was one of the greats. He was one of the all-time greats in the early days. Big Ed Delahanty, yep, first baseman.
It's a pity you didn't share that information with us. We would have known that that would have been the
Well,
wrong.
he was with the Phillies. He went to the Washington Senators
Uh-huh.
and was miserable there. He wanted to get back to the National League, I guess. So he got on a train after a game. He got on a train to New York, and when he got drunk, he got violent with a razor. A conductor threw him off the train, and then he got into a scuffle with a night watchman. And then at some point later in the night, he fell or jumped into the Niagara Falls and died.
Or was pushed from the sound of what he was doing all day.
Yeah.
You
what
know.
about what about the dragging the woman? When did he drag the
But when it
woman?
was on the train, he pulled the woman out of the berth of the car. He
Oh.
was out of control. Yeah.
But
So
all men had straight razors in those days because that's what they shaved with. When was the safety razor invented?
Oh, it's a razor. Swingy Todd had
Well,
one.
but I mean, this is 1903. I think they were still using straight razors in 1903. So everybody had a straight razor.
yeah, and it would be hard to fall off.
Can I just show you my dog?
Oh,
My dog is going to be taken for a walk now.
Is it a
is that a
puppy
boy
Woody?
or a girl?
He's a boy. He's 4 years old.
It's a
Yeah.
boy who's 4 years old. Does he know the answers? He can play the next.
He can't do worse than me. So I really. Why you go for your walk with mommy? Go ahead.
Well, no, it's your question, Gary. Maybe the pug can. Oh,
He's coming back. He was giving her.
No,
He
but
whispered in my ear. He whispered to me.
That's it. You just go. You just leave in the middle of the game.
Yeah,
You're
that's
not-
it. He's
you're not
done.
winning.
He doesn't know
Right.
anything either.
all right. Gary. Gary,
Yes, sir.
this is the last question of our main round before we just do the tiebreaker for fun. Actually, all these questions are for fun because David Sheward has locked up the game.
He's a god.
Somehow I'm
David
not
is a
having
god.
fun today.
Let's just say, like Clapton is God, David is God, and that's it. There's nothing more
I
to say
I
about
was
it.
lucky.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
Mr. Humble.
gracious in winning. That's a nice thing about him. He is gracious in winning.
Yeah, it's the only nice
He does
thing,
it
but it is
often
nice.
enough.
All right, Gary, I have a question for you. It is not a multiple choice. This is just going to be an answer the best way you can in your own words. The year was 1921. Warren G. Harding was playing golf in New Jersey, but he took a little time out to sign the Knox-Porter Resolution. Briefly and in your own words, what was the Knox-Porter Resolution?
I'm going to get. I just think it has to do with something with corruption and favoring business. Since Harding went into the teapot scandal, there was all that and all his cronies before he died, and Coolidge took over. So I'm going to just say something about dispensing special favors for special interests without being able to have a clue what the specifics were, except they were probably from Ohio because that's where he was from. Am I even remotely close? Or it has something to do with Jews
And homophobia.
And
and
homophobia.
homophobia. Thank you. Jewish homophobia.
I may have to deduct a quarter point from you on that. But I'm afraid that is not. No, none of that is at all.
Not even close,
Not
right?
even
So
close.
far away from.
Should I get my dog back to see if he can answer it?
No,
No,
walking
wait, there's
back.
a write-in thing. We have to play the tiebreaker, then you can go.
Well, what's the right answer? Oh,
Well, no.
Wait, no,
This
wait.
is a steal.
Steal.
Go ahead.
Hold on, I rolled. a
David knows
two.
the answer, so why we even bother?
Oh, Leslie Hoban Blake.
No
Don't
smart
bother.
shaming, no smart
Okay.
shaming.
Is it Knox Porter, Porter?
Knox-Porter Resolution.
Does it have something to do with the Pullman car porters? In 1921, there was a unionization of the Pullman car porters. That's all I can think of, that it had something to do with, they signed a union agreement of some kind.
Is that your final answer?
That's the only thing I could think of, yeah, that has to do with porters and 1921.
It's a grand union of all good things, but you don't get points because you're wrong. So, David Sheward,
Yes.
history teacher and English teacher.
Yes,
Not
right.
a physics teacher. I don't
Not-
teach.
not-
He's a hustler. He's hustling us.
Well, I think that they maybe it has something to do with the porters want to unionize and organize so they wouldn't have to deal with drunks slashing them and pulling women out of cars by the ankles. That's
Drunken baseball players. Yeah.
can you read the whole question again?
I will. On this day in 1921, July 2nd, 1921,
Yes.
Warren G. Harding was playing golf in New Jersey, but he took a little time out to sign the Knox-Porter Resolution. Briefly and in your own words, what was the Knox-Porter Resolution?
1921. I'm going to guess and say it had to do with it was prohibition, and the enforcement of prohibition.
Final answer?
Yes.
Well, I would raise a toast to you if you were correct. However, no, I've stumped the panel one more time on this one.
Wow.
There's no history. Amazingly enough, in 1921,
Mhm.
the Knox-Porter Resolution officially ended U.S. involvement in World War I.
Oh,
We never signed the Treaty of Versailles,
Oh,
so this was a compromise bill between Senator Knox and Senator Porter
oh,
to officially like, get us out of a war with Germany all these years later. Isn't that cool? Well, I mean, not cool, but isn't that kind of messed up?
Interesting.
This is how you spend your time this whole week, right? Doing this.
I had nothing else to do.
This is what we got this year.
Yeah.
Your
All
week,
right.
my week at home.
Now, Gary, as a writer, I assume you have hopefully a pen or paper handy with nearby.
I can get one. Can you give me a moment?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
You may have two. It's not my rule, but
Now,
I'm having
I'm not a
trouble.
betting man, but I would bet $10 that Gary's going to get this one right. I don't know about you two.
It's a baseball question.
It happens to be a baseball question. So this is our tiebreaker, except there's no, David Sheward.
I'm done. We're all done. It's homage to David. That's it.
It really
Yes,
is.
this is our homage to David, right?
Now, we do the tiebreaker question just a little bit differently, Gary, because instead of everybody shouting out at once, what we'll do is I'll read the question. I'll give you a little time to write the answer down on a piece of paper. And then I'll read the question again. I'll give a 3, 2, 1 countdown. And then you'll hold the paper up to the camera to show us your answer. Okay, any questions? Any thoughts?
No?
Go ahead.
Let's do it. The year was 1964.
Mhm.
Born today in Havana is this baseball great. An outfielder and power hitter, he burst onto the scene as Rookie of the Year with the Oakland A's, followed 3 years later with a trophy for MVP. He's also a 6-time All-Star with 2 appearances in the World Series, one with the A's, another with the Yankees in 2000. Name this admittedly steroidal athlete whose twin brother Ozzy also briefly played Major League Baseball.
That's interesting.
He was born in 1964?
Born in the year I was born, yes, 1964.
Yeah, the steroids throw me. I had an answer, but now I'm not sure that's what it was.
Okay.
I have the wrong answer, but I can't think of another one, so I'm just going to stick with it.
Okay, I have it.
So there's a few clues in there, not just the statistic clues, but
I'm
the
gonna
personal.
try.
Okay, and
Okay.
David, you're nodding. So hold on, I'm going to read the question one more time, give a 3, 2, 1, and then hold them up.
Okay.
Born July 2nd, 1964 in Havana, is this baseball great, an outfielder and power hitter, burst onto the scene as Rookie of the Year with the Oakland A's, followed 3 years later with a trophy for MVP. He's also a 6-time All-Star, made 2 appearances in the World Series, one with the A's, another with the Yankees in 2000.
Wow.
Name this admittedly steroidal athlete whose twin brother, Ozzy, also briefly played Major League Baseball. 3.
Can I have 2
Wait, hold
answers?
up.
And can I hold up 2 answers?
Sure, but
Can I hold up one?
point.
Well, it's not going to make any
Ready.
difference.
Come on.
3,
Countdown, do a
Ready?
countdown.
2. Wait, are you still writing, Leslie?
Yes, I have a
3,
second answer because I don't think my first answer is right.
1. Let's see him. I see Roberto Clemente.
And then, that's his. He has his old, and that was my second one.
Can you hold that up closer? I think you
Big
got it.
Poppy?
Big Poppy.
Jose
Gary-
Canseco.
Oh, you're right. Of course,
well.
you're right.
Tall man gets it.
I
What was
saved
the,
the best for last.
what gave it away? Did you know it? early
June
on?
Lockhart was never MVP, David. June
Oh,
Lockhart was never MVP.
Well, when you said steroidal.
That was the giveaway. I know, but I couldn't think of who it was.
And then the twin brother Ozzy. So
Good. Good.
Aren't you happy you got a real baseball
Something.
winner?
yeah.
I didn't look completely foolish.
Well, Mazel Tov is my.
You don't
Thank
look as
you.
foolish as I do.
It's as you've seen, guys. It's a stupid, pointless game. So if you get 0
No, it's
points-
fun.
Of course, if you get 10 points like David Sheward, it's a wonderful game. And
Yes.
you have to be a genius to figure it out. So David,
Well.
go. Let's before we let you guys go, and thank you all so much for playing the game on Dave's
For
Gone
joining
Live Day.
you in the downstairs bedroom, right?
I am. Actually. Let's do some plugs though. So first of all, first and foremost, our new friend of the Daverhood, Gary Morgenstein, his play, A Black and White Cookie, is going to be playing from July 14th to July 24th at the Tank on West 36th Street and 8th Avenue.
July 28th. I'm sorry. July 28th.
Oh, they added 4 days at the end?
We added the 2 COVID canceled dates.
Oh,
To
good
the
to know.
end.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. Good.
Thank you. Oh,
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. And it's at the Tank, thetanknyc.org. And also, do you have a website of your own that people can go to learn more about your books?
No, I mean, they can go to bhcpress.com.
B,
Fuck.
yeah.
bhcpress.com and find out about my books. I tried keeping up a website, and I was marginally better than I am at this game. No.
Oh, so it crashed on the second. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
so humble about it.
Yeah,
Now, Leslie Hoban Blake, you what? You're
Well, I have nothing new to report because I last time, as I said, we put up the last stuff that I saw, and I was going to go see Epiphany, and I got this weird cough. I don't know if you hear, but every now and then, if I take in a deep breath, I'm coughing. I don't have COVID. I took the test. It's some kind of what is this called?
Well,
It's a lung thing, pulmonary. There's something pulmonary going on, and on Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to go. No, Tuesday I'll go see a doctor if I'm still having this. But I don't want to go to the theater and start coughing. So I wrote a note to the guy at Lincoln Center, and he wrote back and said, well, we'd like to get you in so that you can exercise your right to vote. And I went, oh, okay. But now we are entering the no mask, the mask of your choice. Gary, at your theater, are they insisting on masks, or can you come in
Last
without-
I saw, you had to have all 3 vaxes and a mask.
Okay,
That's the
but
last
Broadway is now saying, yeah, you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. And I'm like, I don't really want to go into a room full of 900 people, some of whom are from other countries that have very different, rules, and other
Absolutely.
states that have very different rules.
Other
And
states.
then sit next to them and have them cough all over me. I don't want to do it. So
So
I wouldn't do it to them, but they would do it to me.
Well, from what I've heard, Epiphany stinks, so you may not be missing much.
Be that as it may, I heard
Be
the
that as it
same
may.
thing, but
Be
be
that
that
as
as it may, that's
Well-
not my reasoning. I would go to see Mary Louise Burke. I would go to see Mary Louise Burke across the street. I adore her. And Jonathan Hadary is in it, and I know him from Circle Rep from my old days. So, I would.
But
for
people
those
should
two, I
know
would go.
that for older episodes of the show that Leslie Hoban Blake does with our mutual friend Charlie Gross, and I spoke to Charlie this week, he's doing great. You can go to the YouTube channel Two on the Aisle. Two on the Aisle is a theater review show, an interview show, lots of old episodes, and I'm talking going back a couple of decades.
Well, where you were on the show yet.
And I was and Jeff Goodman was on the show, and then you've been on the show for a bunch of years now. Check them out.
About 12 at this point,
Awesome McClick.
I know.
So, Leslie Hoban
I
Blake
was a child when I started.
and David Sheward. You, I'm sure, wrote some stuff this week for Theater Life and CulturalDaily.com.
Yes, I do have a review of Epiphany and Corsicana, which I liked, both of them.
Oh, you did like
See?
Epiphany. That's the first good thing I've heard about it.
Yeah.
What is good? What is it? It's
Well, it's well, I don't want to give away too much of it, but Epiphany is about this older woman played by Mary Louise Burke, as you mentioned, who throws a party for Epiphany. And she doesn't know what Epiphany is or why, and she's gathering all these friends together, and it's sort of like they're trying to find a sense of community or celebration in the midst of a very disconnected world. And there was a lot about it I liked. It wasn't a perfect play, but there was a lot about it I liked. And I felt the same about Corsicana at Playwrights Horizons.
and that's also about, and that one is about.
It's about 4 people in Texas who, for each of them, has like their own story of being damaged or having trauma, and how they kind of try to reach out to each other and form a sort of a community of sorts among each other after everything they've been through.
Now, people can read both of these reviews of Corsicana and of Epiphany by David Sheward
Yes.
in both CulturalDaily.com and TheaterLife.com.
Yes.
You also write anything for your blog, The David Desk.
Well, I summed up some things about the Carol Burnett show. There are now, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but Amazon now has several full episodes of the Carol Burnett show that had previously only been available, like chopped up on MeTV and other syndicate and Shout Factory, like the shorter 22-minute versions for syndication. So there are several complete episodes with material that has not been seen in quite a while.
You've been immersing yourself so much in it. Is it at the point, David, where you look back at 2 years of the? No, I'm sorry, and you're thinking, let me get permission. Let me turn this into a book.
Well, somebody has done a book on the Carol Burnett show already. I mean,
Well, so what? You know, you wrote a book on George C. Scott. It doesn't mean somebody else can't.
well, the thing about doing a book is it's very time consuming, and I mean, it's just.
I'm just saying, it feels like you've done the heavy lifting, a lot of it already, as opposed to starting a book project from scratch.
Well,
That's all the reason I'm asking.
I don't know. It would be very onerous and very difficult, and doing it on a blog. And so, like, this is for fun, and I'm not going to make any money out of it. If I did do a book, it would just be for fun. And
Carol Burnett, you don't think that would sell? You don't think that would be a?
No.
Oh, okay.
Carol Burnett has done her own book about her show, and like the George C. Scott book, I spent 2 years on it. I didn't make very much money on it. It's now it's there on Amazon, but it's just very, very difficult to do these things.
Fair enough.
You know, I was watching as I'm sorry, as is all that I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. So I was watching TCN, and there were half a dozen or maybe even 8 Anthony Mann films on in the daytime, one right after the other. And I had forgotten the breadth of Anthony Mann's kind of work. Everything from musicals to old westerns to strange things about Abraham Lincoln. Everything always with a moral of something. Robert Taylor playing a Native American, that was a lot of fun. And I thought, I wonder if anybody's written a book about Anthony Mann. So the minute I looked up, Janine Basinger. Now I'm not going to go and try to do a book on Anthony Mann, because Janine Basinger, who was the head of the American Film Institute, wrote a book about him. So you don't. It's like it's like swimming upstream. But I have never actually produced a book, and you have, David. We've produced several, so you know.
Now let me ask, and I do want to let you guys go. It's been so great.
Oh, and Hamlet is. I saw Hamlet, and I will be doing a review of it.
Oh, cool. Oh,
and is it this or you don't?
Oh, I liked it. I liked it.
Oh, okay.
But Gary, I should have asked. I mean, you've got Black and White Cookie opening, but are you working on another play? Are you working on a novel? What is your next? You don't have to give us details. I know writers.
Well, I finished a new play called Free Palestine, and it's about it's about academic freedom and political bullying. A Jewish private school teacher who's fired because he teaches because he's not considered balanced enough.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm actually working on a reading at the synagogue in the Jersey Shore Labor Day weekend. So I'll let you know about that.
Change the name. You're gonna scare off the Jewish community. I'm not kidding.
But it's ironic.
Go to a play.
Yeah, but people don't get irony in titles like that.
Right.
Not when Palestine is part of the title.
I understand, but so that, and then there's a Tomato Can't Grow in the Bronx is opening at the Chain Theater in December.
That's adorable.
No, yes, you need to change the name of that to a different vegetable.
What about Palestine grows in?
I do stories. I try to take on things that people are not just doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I mean, it's an uncomfortable title, even if you're saying stuff that Jews would be happy hearing. That's what.
Yes.
But David, his whole play is about censorship. You can't censor his title.
I'm not censoring it. Come on. People are going to think it's Yasmina Reza or something, or not Yasmina, or Carol Churchill.
You understand that in theater, when both with a Black and White Cookie and with the Tomato Can't Grow in the Bronx, both times I worked with the producers, okay? And I said, well, it's a Tomato Can't Grow in the Bronx is about a Jewish working class family. He said, no, we can't mention Jewish because then they'll only think only Jews will want to come.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Imagine if you said that it's about a Black working class family. Yeah. No, we can't mention Black because white people will want to come. Just imagine that, okay?
All right.
I mean, that's, and with a Black and White Cookie to mention, well, there's themes of anti-Semitism. No, you're going to push people off.
Right. So, no, but they're not. The titles are very inviting. A Black and White Cookie is a cute title. The tomato grows in the Bronx is like a tree grows in Brooklyn. It's cute. We get it. Free Palestine sounds like something that some fucking idiot is going to hold up at a march. Okay.
Robert Frost
But
said
they
the
have
way
the right to
around
do
is
that.
through.
Well, I'm sorry. What was that?
Robert Frost said the way around is through. And
Mhm.
sometimes you throw the punch right here.
Okay. Okay. I'm
We're
just
gonna see.
saying you're
You
gonna
could be
lose
right.
audiences who would have come to the play anyway, and you're gonna lose audiences with that title. You know, you're gonna gain audiences
Maybe.
you don't want.
Maybe. I'm sure that this has gone through your mind, Gary. Yes, you're not a
Yes.
newcomer to this.
Well, it's
So I'm
still, it's you can't prejudge something before seeing it or
Yes.
reading it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you look who you're talking to. I prejudge everything before I see. Anyway, I do wish you certainly success with Black and White Cookie and
Yes.
with all the stuff that you do.
With all of them.
And
I hope you get to see a show. That would be great.
as soon as I get over this fucking COVID.
Yes,
I
please.
Gary, will you record it? Will you or will you have like a streaming thing, or it's just
No.
live? Okay.
Just live.
That's fine. So you have to go.
But
to
after
the
you've done the run, you're not gonna stream it?
No.
Even with a ticket price on it?
Well, Leslie's quarantining for different reasons. She can't. I will say, Leslie, if you're interested in Black and White Cookie, and I want to say this to other people who are able-bodied and can go to the theater.
Mhm.
Don't.
Well,
but
look,
if you
I'm
understand
not, well, okay,
Go
I
on
can't say I'm not
YouTube,
disabled
and
because I am,
there's a
but that's
reading
all right,
there
okay.
that's very good. There's a reading of the play that's very good. I'm not
Mhm.
saying it's going to be as good as this production. I'm not going to say do that instead.
And where is that, on that site that you mentioned?
No, just on YouTube. Just Google Black and White Cookie. I'm sorry to do
Okay.
that, Gary, but I want to tell that because
Yes. Yeah, they put up on YouTube.
Watch your play.
Well, because when they did the production in outside Washington, we were still in Omicron, and we
Oh.
didn't know.
Yeah.
So we got shortened to one weekend, and even that got postponed 2 weeks because one of the cast members was exposed to someone.
Right.
So they put it up, stream it for people who still did not feel comfortable in October going to live performance.
And by the way, Gary, besides the hate mail you're going to get from naming that street tonight, you're going to get hate mail from people in Maryland for saying Silver Spring is in Washington. No.
Outside what?
Maryland.
No, he
When-
said
one of the
outside
re-
Washington. He said, he
One of the
gave it-
reviewers,
Yeah.
it's interesting, one of the reviewers, the reviews were very nice. One of the reviewers of the production said, kind of scolded me for talking about making anti-Semitic comments when anti-Semitism is on the rise, as if by discussing it, I was contributing to it.
Yeah.
But it's like, what? Really?
Yeah, no, believe me, I'm against woke. I'm so against wokeism, you cannot believe. I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, guys, yes, David, yeah.
Well, then you're opening a whole can of worms. What does one mean by wokeism?
Mhm.
That's a discussion for next week. How's the game takes?
I mean-
You could give us 12 questions on the subject of
I mean,
wokeism.
the examples that Gary is offering are not necessarily, wokeism. That's sort of being.
Okay. Well,
No,
no,
it's not wokeism, it's something else. It's
Yeah, I mean,
That's
Are you talking about
anti-Semitism.
cancel, is it more
Extreme.
cancel culture than,
right. Cancel
Well,
culture I despise more than anything
that's
else.
something else.
Yeah.
That's
but
something
is
else.
that what you're talking about, Gary, or that's still not?
no,
what-
I'm saying that some of it is sort of a manipulative anti-Semitism. That
Oh, I see.
anti-Semitism is not treated the same as other hates.
What
It
I'm
can be
saying
treated
is
more,
that, yeah.
but
Which
just the
I
same.
find
Although, I mean,
that's
it's
not-
anti-Asian or
Well, there's
when I
a
make fun
reason
of-
for that, Gary.
Yeah.
Tradition.
Tradition.
And that's it. But that is, and
All I'm
everybody
saying
hates the
is-
Jews. What's his name? Oh, who's saying that?
Zero Mostel.
Tom Lehrer. The Jews, the so-and-sos hate the so-and-sos, and everybody hates the Jews. That's his song.
National Brotherhood Week, yeah.
National Brotherhood Week, exactly.
But what I mean is being woke is not necessarily going to extremes. And
God willing, yeah. Well,
what Gary is describing is going to extremes to be politically correct, quote unquote. And I don't
That's
think
still cancel culture.
no.
that's
What I'm
still
saying is
knocking
I didn't
somebody
say
off.
that. I didn't say. I said being woke does not necessarily mean that you go to ridiculous, crazy extremes
fair enough.
to appear politically correct.
Just as being Democrat doesn't mean you're far left Democrat or being
Right.
Republican. Well,
Right.
actually, if you're Republican at this point,
The Republic,
you are
yeah, that's a
looking
bad
like
example,
Trump.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than that.
Yeah. Okay.
Ah, Okay, it is 20 to noon. Feels
Yeah,
like
midnight. It is close.
I have to start
Feels
dinner
like
now,
it's
I think.
midnight. That's all.
It is close to midnight.
So it is. Let's do all the dating game. But Gary, instead of the dating game thing, what I'd like
Yeah.
you to do as we let you all go is you're going to throw out pitches to us as we let you go, and I'm going
Kisses?
to yeah, no pitches. Throw out like the
Pitches,
first
okay.
pitch in Yankee Stadium. Gary, congratulations on the play, and thank you so much for being in the Daverhood.
My pleasure. It was a delight to meet everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Jose Canseco, I have to remember that.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There goes Gary. Okay, have a great.
Congratulations again, David.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Dave. See you next week. And Leslie, Hoban, Blake, have a fine week.
I'm really glad you're feeling better, sweetheart.
I hope you don't have anything with a thing with a
No,
thing.
it's something, I don't know what it is. It's a tightness across here. And I cough when I take a deep breath like this. I can't.
If Leslie, if you need a chest exam, I'm.
Oh, God, David.
Yeah, no, you really don't, David. You really don't.
You're not in her HMO. You can't.
Damn it.
Aside from that, you really don't. Trust me.
Okay, fair enough.
Leslie, he really would.
Oh yeah, here we go. A little more show to do for you on this Saturday, July 2nd, 2022.
Want me to make you a tea or something? Are you okay?
I think I'm all right. I've still got some coffee left here.
Okay. Oh, good.
But thank you for offering. But I'm going to need you now more than ever, my darling. But that's my darling, adorable wife,
It
Joyce.
says, I just got a thing saying your key. Oh.
My what?
It
My
says
key?
your key food order is scheduled for delivery by 4.
Great. Yeah, it's supposed to come between 1 and 4.
It just
Because I
reminds
can't
me.
go out and shop because I've got
Yeah.
seen COVID. So here I am, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 856th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream, a show of comedy, arguments, craziness. That's what we do. Also, still to come, we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. I don't think I ever fully introduced this episode, where we go to Gypsum,
I don't
Colorado.
think you did, yeah.
And then we have our, of course, Greeley crimes and old times. That's what I really need you for, babe. I need you with your noisemakers. I need you with your participation, as it were, because what we do every week here, I haven't even opened my folder yet, is we look in the pages, digitally, I admit, of the Greeley Tribune. This is a newspaper that's been around for well over 100 years. It's one of the cool things that they do. It's a real paper. Every week, there are 2 columns in it that are intentionally funny, even though they're based on real things. The columns are Cop Log and 100 Years Ago. So Cop Log takes the police dispatch report, the phone calls that come into the Weld County Police Dispatch of people seeing something in their neighborhood and going, whoa, that's weird, and telling the cops about it. Well, the calls tend to be weirder than the actual things, so those are collected, they're public record, and once a week they put them in the paper under Cop Log. We share the best of them with you, alongside what our friend Mike Peters of the Greeley Tribune, he will go through the newspapers from 100 years ago, 1922, and find things in them that were published that we look askance at now with our more modern eyes. We mix both of those items together to come up with a segment that we call Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Fiddly indeed we. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Crimes and Old Times every Saturday, every episode of the Dave's Gone By show. And so, honey, are you ready for some criminality?
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy, booyah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's start with some modern crime from like a week or 2 or 3 ago in northern Colorado. A man... Wow, he's an interesting man. A man on 27th Avenue reported another man kept coming to the house when his girlfriend was home alone to sell her pest products. And the last time he came to the door, he helped himself inside and asked if he could smoke the caller's girlfriend's weed. Honest to gosh, yeah, that's an interesting interesting sales technique, if you will.
Mm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, or not meanwhile, but same day, just about 45 minutes later, a caller on 23rd Avenue. Oh, we have a caller. Well, let me get the phone. Okay. Reported a boy in his mid-teens with a man bun stole a tennis ball from her 11-year-old son. It's like, I don't know, how do you even unpack, who steals does it mean he took the ball out of the boy's hands?
Did he steal the man bun?
And well, that'd be good. That'd be kind of tasty, because I'd be hot, I'd be cross about that, and then you'd have a hot cross bun.
Oh, a man bun is a hair thing,
Yeah, it's a
David.
hair thing. The man with a hair bun stole a tennis ball from an 11-year-old.
Mm.
I don't know if that means it fell outside the place where he's playing tennis and the guy picked it up and took it, or if he literally went up to the kid and stole his tennis ball. Either way, the mom called the cops.
Sure it wasn't a golden retriever?
Oh, it could have. Well, he did retrieve the ball. Oh! A woman on 17th Street reported that she thought a cat was stuck in her ceiling,
Uh-oh.
but it ended up being a part of a, quote, grooming salon prank war.
What?
It took me a couple of reads to get this one, but she thought she saw a cat stuck in her ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it was a prank war being done by her grooming salon.
So
they took a wig, probably,
these are her friends?
or either her enemies or her rivals at a different grooming salon, so that when she looked up in the ceiling and she saw like fur.
That just seems very mean.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's actually
like
kind of
that.
funny. Well, it's funny. It's like, oh my god, a dead cat, and then it's just a wig, and then like everybody's hiding and go. You don't think that's cute?
I don't think faking that is cute. I think it's scary.
I think it'd be kind of fun if you like hid around Halloween time, like one of those rubber hands, and you
Ugh,
put the hand in like the thing coming out, and like a little bit of blood by the fingers.
I don't think that's good.
I think that'd be kind of funny. Oh well. Oh well. Hey, a caller. We have a caller in the
Oh, wait a
Greeley
second.
Mall. Wow, it's weird that the noise doesn't come through on this side when you do it there.
Oh, really? Where can I hold the thing?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's actually, wow, whoa. No, it's loud for a quarter second and then it trails off immediately. It's weird.
Maybe it's a Zoom protection.
Could be. Could be. I thought Zoom wore condoms all the time anyway. But a caller at
That's
the
cute.
Greeley Mall had concerns about. This is true. He calls the cops. I'm going to throw this one to you, babe. What do you think this guy at the Greeley Mall was concerned about?
I think he didn't get his discount on his on what he purchased.
No. That would be legit. That would be reasonable. What do you think he was calling the cops to complain
Oh,
about?
I know that they ran out of Slurpees at the Slurpee machine.
I've done that. I've called the cops about that, but no.
That the Annie's pretzels didn't have salted pretzels.
That happened to me.
Yes.
I called the fire department about that one, but
You
no.
cried. You screamed and cried. Yeah. You threw yourself on the floor.
No, see, hon, what happened here is
Yeah.
a caller in the Greeley Mall had concerns
Yeah.
about the abusiveness of smaller circuses.
What? In the mall? What was going on?
don't-
Oh, I know. They have that little carousel, the carousel. It's a
Maybe,
children's ride and it has little ponies and little like plastic animals, maybe.
or maybe nearby a small circus came to town and the guy just happened to be calling from the Greeley Mall.
I think he was very alerting people. That's good.
I guess. I don't know. But
It's
that
good
may
to
be my
share.
favorite thing ever. it's like I think I'll just call the cops about this right now from like the AMC theater inside the Greeley Mall. Anyway, let's do it one more and then we'll go to some old-timey things. A very large blood spatter
Oh,
appeared on a driveway on 29th Street. So apparently now that the Supreme Court has ruled, Abortion Mart is open for business.
oh,
I'm very happy to see that. Anyway, let's do some old times. These are things that were in the actual Greeley Tribune Republican newspaper back in 1922.
Is that before they made them all?
This is, yeah, this is kind of long before.
Were they also
Field.
abusing circus animals then, or is that not
Well, they
relevant?
were probably, I'm sure they were abusing them much worse
Oh, okay.
back in there. You know that not one of the very first Thomas Edison films, but an early Edison film was electrocuting an elephant.
Really?
You actually see a parade and the elephant.
Wait. But
Yeah.
did they kill him or they just shot him?
No, you see an elephant, for some reason they had to kill it, and they electrocuted it. They sent, shocks
Why?
up to its giant paw trunk things. What do you call those elephant?
Yeah, I don't know.
And you just see it tumble over and die. This was
That's
entertainment back in 1902, you know?
That's horrific.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But anyway, here's a history note from the Greeley Tribune. And remember, this is written in like 1922, so it wasn't that long ago. But it said, before 1880, when gasoline was discovered to have power possibilities,
Uh-oh.
did you know that gas engines...
wait.
Wait, what? No, that's my kind of gas, hon. What do you think powers gas engines? Two items. What do you think they put together?
I don't know. Shame and greed.
Yes. Also, gunpowder and turpentine. Who knew? But I guess if you do a spark,
At
and
least
then it,
things were safer back then. I'm happy that things were safer.
yeah, me too. Wow, wow.
And gunpowder. Yeah, that's always a good way to go.
So that was a history note. Now here comes a strange note.
Oh no.
A young man, this sounds more like a joke than an actual item. A young man recently asked a young girl why girls are engaged to so many boys at one time. A smoker like you shouldn't have to ask that, she replied. When you have only one match, does it generally go out?
What?
I'm sorry, doesn't it generally?
Yes, no.
I screwed up the reading of that one. Brain fog. No, but she's saying like that's the reason. If you have just one match, it's gone. So you might as well get engaged to amongst your boys and see which one lasts. Back in the day.
Mm-mm.
Oh, this is fun. This is fun.
Oh.
On a farm between Greeley and Windsor, two towns in northern Colorado, a
Mm-hmm.
child's grave has been disrupted by people who apparently thought gold was buried with the girl, who died 60 years earlier.
Oh no, no.
The farm is owned by Indian Smith, and the girl's grave is considered a Greeley monument. Police said the grave, markers, and fence were destroyed because it is believed a fortune teller thought the grave had gold. No gold was found, and police are still looking for the vandals.
This is a big problem. This is problematic in too many ways.
Is it really? Yeah. Yeah. Because of the fortune teller telling that there might be gold buried with a dead body?
Well, I just watched a Columbo where they had an institute of like paranormal phenomenon, and it was like a scam. So
Oh,
it hits home. Yeah, it hits home.
got it.
It hits, yeah, too close.
In Frederick, Colorado. Hey, Frederick. When 4 Colorado State Rangers tried to arrest a man during a coal strike, the Union coal miners attacked the Rangers, injuring them. It was a near riot, and several miners were jailed. Yes, right on. We're Union people, so especially during these times, yay. And one more old-timey thing. A veteran of the Great War in Germany, the war that was finally ended in 1921, was wounded by a machine gun from a German aeroplane. He fought for, it's actually horrible. He fought for life for 4 years after the war. He had 50 operations to close the wounds and 18 bullets removed from his body.
Oh my God.
14 ribs, a collarbone, and a shoulder bone were removed from his body, and he just died this week, back in 1922.
Wow.
You know his nickname? Lucky.
What?
No.
He was. The fact that he lived with all that stuff. I mean,
But it was
wow.
50 operations and excruciating pain for 4 years.
Oh my goodness.
I can't imagine. I mean, it's like No, no, no. Ah, I'm trying to think if there's any other jokes to make about this guy, but no. Ah, let me go back to some. Oh no, let me do some elsewhere things. So, also on this program, on the Greeley Crimes and Old Times, we like to do a story or two that aren't from Greeley
Mhm.
or Northern Colorado. Just some weird news that happened elsewhere in America or the world. So this time we go all the way to Ohio. A nightmare turned into reality for an Ohio man who was alarmed to hear weird noises coming from his genitals. The unidentified,
Oh no.
yeah, 72-year-old man heard a hissing noise, and now he's been diagnosed as the first person in the world with, quote, a whistling scrotum. The man, out of breath with a swollen face, among other things, was rushed to the local emergency room complaining about his bizarre condition. A chest x-ray showed excessive amounts of air floating around his body and causing his lungs to collapse, a very dangerous, even deadly condition. Well, it turns out the primary source of the man's strange whistling was discovered to be an open wound on the left side of
Mm.
his scrotum. The injury, left over from testicle surgery to reduce swelling 5 months earlier, was allowing trapped air to escape. The doctors did put tubes in his chest and in his head to drain the air, and he was soon released in good condition. However, I don't know how good it was, they also removed both of his testicles.
Oh wow.
Having air trapped in your scrotum, that is a condition. It's called pneumoscrotum, as opposed to old-most scrotum. And by the way, I knew old-most scrotum. He used to play a guitar down at the crossroads. And his air was in there for 2 years. That was what was making it most problematic. He can have air in there, but not for 2 long years. During his recovery, the man adamantly denied
Mm.
injecting air into his own scrotum.
Oh,
What, did they not believe him? Sir, we think you personally injected air into your... Like, no. Like,
it's like
no!
it's like when you have a computer problem and they say it's human error, right? Like you're doing it wrong, right? It's like, no, the technology's bad.
Yeah,
Like,
no, no, I'm sorry.
you
The guy
didn't do
did not.
anything to your computer. I'm like, I turned it on. I don't know.
No, but who takes a hypodermic needle or whatever and goes,
No, there's some people who make themselves sick, David. You know that.
fair enough.
Like he
Fair
might make
enough.
himself sick,
Munchausen or by
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is fine. I get it. You take something, it gives you a stomach, so you're laying up for a bit, you get a fever. You do not inject air into your own scrotum, especially if you're a girl. But
We'll talk later. We'll
okay.
talk later.
Let's do one more crime or two, and then we'll table this segment this week on Greeley Crimes and Old Times on Dave's Gone By. A caller on 30th Street Road said a man on drugs, oh, there we go, was on top of one of the trailers. I don't know why I found that funny. Okay, well, I'll cross that one out. A caller on 8th Street said she took videos of a strange man who kept hiding things under her tree. Maybe Santa Claus.
I think he's a squirrel.
Oh, that could be. Well, yeah.
That's what squirrels do.
And we know he's nuts. Unless he has airy nuts, and then it's understandable.
Oh my goodness.
A woman in Greeley reported that her son was left home alone and was bitten by a raccoon at his father's house. She also said he got all F's in school.
Oh wow.
Like, sort of unrelated reportage to the police there. It was like, yep, he's at his dad's and got bitten by a raccoon. And by the way, he's failing. She's trying to build up like the court case to get custody, I'm sure, by including that. And finally, a caller near 8th Avenue reported a woman throwing bricks and cups at vehicles in the area. I kind of wonder how she decided which to throw at which, because that's very different. If you throw a cup at a car, It's like, yeah, a plastic cup. You throw a brick at a car. That's so does she see a car passing? I was like, it's a red car. Right. Well, red
Wow.
cups. I like drinking. Red cup. Okay, cup. And then it's
Yeah.
it's a Chevy Bolt. Boom, brick.
Huh.
How would you decide that, dear? I don't know.
I think it's just whatever was nearest at the time, probably.
That could be.
That
That
would be
could
my thinking.
Well, we've got a little bit more to think about on this episode of Dave's Gone By. It is just a little bit after noon, so we're going to close this segment of Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
Oh no.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi, 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 yippee-yi.
So we still have a little bit more. Whoa, stop that. Stop it, shush. We still have a little bit more to do of this episode of Dave's Gone By, this 856th episode of the show on this July 2nd, 2002. We're going to have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we go to Gypsum, Colorado. But before we do that, let's thank again not only the folks who appeared on this particular episode of the show, but our friends of the Daverhood. These are people who have been on the program maybe a month ago, or maybe a year, or 5 or 10, or we've been on the air almost 20 years at this point. We like to keep tabs on them and let you know what our family is doing in Friends of the Daverhood. So first of all, of course, we want to remind you one more time that Gary Morgenstein, our new friend of the Daverhood, his play, A Black and White Cookie, is playing at the Tank July 14th through the 28th. The Tank is over on West 36th Street, and you can get your tickets at thetanknyc.org. And great competitor, great fun, a lot of fun to chat with and spar with on the show today. Want to also thank, of course, Leslie Hoban Blake. You can watch her on the podcast, the video podcast, Two on the Aisle. Go see all their older episodes at the YouTube channel, Two on the Aisle. And then, of course, David Sheward writes for TheaterLife.com, CulturalDaily.com, and his blog, The David Desk. And let's not forget Rabbi Sol Solomon. He has his own website, ShalomDammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, ShalomDammit.com, for his rabbinical reflections, his interviews on the show, and his and his solo show, his stage show, Shalom Dammit, an evening with Rabbi Sol Solomon, that played off-Broadway about 11-12 years ago. ShalomDammit.com. As for other people, don't forget that playing now through July 10th on Broadway at Studio 54, the dark comedy The Minutes, which features our friend, the ubiquitous Austin Pendleton. Don't miss it. And then playing now through July 17th in California, in North Hollywood at the Brick House, it's Willard Manis's play The Funny Man, all about writer S.J. Perlman. And you can see that for the next 3 weeks. Let you know that every Saturday night, including tonight, if you don't have COVID, go down to Birdland and get tickets at birdlandjazz.com for Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano every Saturday night at 5:30. Now, running now through the end of July, if you happen to be in Spain, in Barcelona, go see Alice Ripley in this new immersive version of Next to Normal. They took this very good musical that won a bunch of Tonys on Broadway. She won the Tony Award for her role, and they boiled it down to an hour as an immersive experience in this weird circular round amphitheater in Barcelona, Spain. It's partially video, it's partially, I don't even know. It sounds weird and interesting. It's Next to Normal with Alice Ripley in person in Barcelona now through the end of the month. Playing now through September 1st at New World Stages once a week, Katsura Sunshine's Rakugo, It's all about Japanese storytelling. Christian Noel is on Broadway in Dear Evan Hansen, and that's playing only through the middle of September. Also, Come From Away, that is going to be closing October 2nd, so you have a couple more weeks to see this wonderful musical at the Schoenfeld Theater, created and written by Irene Sankoff and David Hine. Playing now at the, I think it's at the Hayes, I'm not sure what theater it is, but it's Paradise Square, no, the Hudson Theater, no. Oh, go look it up. It's Paradise Square, a musical. It was got a book co-written by Larry Kerwin, our friend, and also choreographed by the brilliant Bill T. Jones. This is, it showed very, very well on the Tonys, and tickets are starting to sell a bit better. So maybe the momentum will pick up for Paradise Square on Broadway. Mr. Saturday Night, that is, of course, the Billy Crystal show. It's got lyrics by Amanda Green, and it's at the Nederlander Theater. Aladdin is co-written, well, it's got music by Alan Menken on Broadway. Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night at Birdland. Evan Seplow, founding and edits StageBuddy.com for New York nightlife news. And new and old Dr. Demento shows are at drdemento.com. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. All right, so
David, somebody wrote,
Yeah.
Gary wrote, I had a terrific time. What fun, other than the humiliation of the trivia game. Thank you, David and Rabbi and Leslie and David for having me on.
It was absolutely, completely, and 110% our pleasure, Gary. You're batting 1,000 in our hearts here in the Daverhood for being such a wonderful guest. Really, seriously, and we'd love to have you come back and play the Today trivia game also with us in
Yesterday.
Oh, what did I say?
It's a Today trivia game.
Oh, the Today yesterday. See, the 3 hours in, and the COVID, and the brain, and the fog.
You'll be getting food soon.
Yes, food. Yes, food. Okay, but before the food, we do have one more item of business to take care of on this episode of Dave's Gone By. Yes, yes, it is our Colorado Limerick of the Dam. Joyce and I talk about Colorado a lot just because we lived there for over a decade, or something like that, or nearly a decade living in the wonderful state of Colorado. So while I was there, I got it into my head, for certainly no good reason, to write a poem about as many places in Colorado as I could, from the big cities to the small little towns to the little burgs that are 3 blocks long with an old burnt out post office on them, and yet they're still a designated place. All of these places, I'm thinking, can I write a disgusting, vile, putrid, tasteless, sick poem about him? And I think I can. But this is wonderful. This is amazing that because we had earlier in the show, we were talking about foreskins, right? We were during the Today Yesterday quiz. There was a question about Charles Guiteau, who apparently had this phimosis thing where the foreskin had and you couldn't, and that drove him crazy and gave him pain and made him shoot the president. So, wouldn't you know, by sheer coincidence, that foreskins turn up again in our Colorado Limerick of the Dam.
Oh, no.
Yes, in Gypsum, Colorado. But guess who else is turning up again?
Who?
Because I could do this, but I think it's better if Rabbi Saul does the honors on our Colorado Limerick of the Dam today. So I'm going to play our Colorado Limerick intro music, and then let the Rabbi take the reins.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain.
Oh, Rocky Mountain High. not high. Rocky Mountains high, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's Rabbi Sal back with you. A delight. Thank you, Dave, for the plug you gave to my website, shalomdammit.com. Remember, I also have a Twitter feed at Rabbi Sal Solomon, RABBISOLSOLOMON. Memorize it, at Rabbi Sal Solomon, and of course, the website and everything else that I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted and thrilled that Dave has asked me to do this week's Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we go to Gypsum, Colorado. And listen, you gotta watch out for the gypsies because they steal. So here's a little bit about Gypsum, Colorado. Population 8,000. It's in eastern central Colorado. It is home of, the American Gypsum drywall plant and mine, incorporated back in 1911. It's got the Eagle River there, which is a tributary of the Colorado River. So that passes right through the center of town. This is you can see my fingers. This represents the passing of a river.
Ooh, fancy.
Looks, or it could be an octopus that's living in the river. I like the octopus thing better. There we go. Flip, 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 flip. There you go. Believe it or not, even though this little nothing town has a small airport that is there to take skiers to Vail, Colorado. So there's no veiled threats here, my friends. I have a new Colorado Limerick of the Damned, written by Dave, but performed by me, Rabbi Sal Solomon, a Colorado Limerick from Gehenna of the Damned. Ahem, ahem. A nearsighted moil from Gypsum makes all babies yelp when he grips 'em. With shaky old hands, he squeezes their glands, and foreskins go when he rips 'em. Yes, you might want to send your comments and complaints. Don't send them to me. Don't send them to shalomdammit@aol.com. No. Send those to Dave at davesgoneby@aol.com. Dave's Gone By at AOL.com. He loves your compliments. He hates your insults, but send him your insults anyway. They feed his rage. And then you can also, on the Facebook page that you're looking at now, unless you're watching this later on, is Dave's Gone By. You can post on the Facebook page under the shows. Or if you're a friend on Facebook, as opposed to a friend of the Daverhood, but if you're a friend on Facebook, you can write an instant message to Dave, and he may write back, he might not. It depends on his mood. Depends if he recovers from COVID or dies from it. We don't know yet. We'll see. But either way, message him, davesgoneby@aol.com, or on the Facebook page to register your delight at having me, Rabbi Sal Solomon, on this program. I wish I could take you through the rest of the show, but I think David wants to talk about one more thing and then go away and have a wonderful, I wish you a most happy 4th of July weekend. Stay safe. Don't be like these idiots, these children, where they think, oh, a firecracker. It will make a nice noise. Let me light this thing on fire. Psst, and let it go off in my hand and blow my fingers off. Then you would not be able to do this. Wouldn't you rather be like a cute little octopus hand, being able to go across a thing like this all day long, instead of coming out of a hospital with your hand like this because you had one moment of fun with a firecracker? Don't do it! God damn it. Anyway, let me bring back Dave into the Daverhood. I'm going to play a little bit more of my Jewish music. This is from Moshe Denberg, our friend of the Daverhood. He allows us to use this music on this show from me. Eventually, if it will play. Thank you so much. Yeehaw! Yeah, that's cool stuff from Moshe Denberg, another friend of the Daverhood, someone that I'd love to get back on the show soon, playing the Today-Yesterday quiz. We just haven't had the opportunity because it's been wonderful. We've had guests, interview guests on the show staying to play the game, just as Gary Morgenstein did earlier in the show. So, hon, are you still there? Have you hung with me through the whole 3 hours here?
I am here.
You are here. I'm sure you're getting hungry. I know I'm getting hungry, but not in the way you're thinking about, dear.
Uh-oh, what?
And not in the naughty way you're thinking about either. No, 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 no.
What?
Today is July 2nd,
Yes.
2022. We're
Oh, is it some
finishing
sort of festival or something? Festival of yummies?
the 856th episode of the show, right? Okay,
Mhm.
we're done. It's almost over. We're finishing it. Today's July 2nd. Tomorrow's July 3rd.
Oh, I know, Nathan's hot dog. Yeah,
Monday.
when is it
Monday.
on? Are they streaming?
And we're going to try and find it. I hope they are. I hope and pray that they will be live streaming.
Did they
No.
stream it last year? I can't remember.
I remember we went through the tortures of the damned trying to find it, or maybe we just watched it on.
No, that was the Tonys. We had trouble finding
Yeah.
the Tonys.
That was this year. Yeah, the Tonys were impossible. But I think we were able to find it online and chant and be very excited about Joey Chestnut setting a record last year. He ate like 70 something hot dogs in 10 minutes. And Joey is back. And Joey is going to go not only for the win, because he's still, he's going to get the win, but going to try for that record again. I don't know. Every year Joey gets a little older. He's more experienced, but he's also eaten a lot more stuff because he eats all year long. He doesn't just wait for 1 year to eat these hot dogs. He eats tons and tons of things. Plus, I'm reading one of the articles about him and about this year's hot dog eating contest at Nathan's that he's hurt his foot. So he's coping with a foot injury.
What does that have to do with eating hot dogs?
I don't know. Hopefully nothing.
I don't
Hopefully
think.
it
Oh,
gives
he
him
has
a
to
hollow
stand,
neck.
but he has to stand, I guess.
Oh, I wonder if he'll be distracted, or you're not as hungry if you're in pain, right? Or if he's on any medications that would preclude him being able to senselessly down Frankfurter after Frankfurter after Frankfurter that might counteract whatever medications he's on. These are questions to ask. These are things to think about when Joey Chestnut takes on the challenge again. Saturday, I think it's high noon in Coney Island. They're doing it in person, and it's not going to be separated anymore. They're going to have 25,000 people up in front and thousands all around, and showing it on TV. Are you pumped, hon?
I'm very excited. You could cut the tension with the knife. It's very exciting.
You also cut the mustard with a knife. That's the real thing. Let me just see. And by the way, Mickey Sugo, I believe, is going to go up for the women's team again.
Is she his girlfriend?
I think she has. I don't think the two of them. I think she's married. Wasn't one of them pregnant last year and sat out?
Yes, she couldn't compete. She took a time off. Yeah.
So I don't think it's them. Let me see. Let me just see one story about the hot dog. This is from Yahoo Sports, and see what they have to say about this year's Nathan's hot dog eating contest in Coney Island. Come on, stop this. Stop with these windows that keep opening. Thank you. Jesus, I hate these websites. Okay. It is the 4th of July, Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Joey Chestnut is a massive favorite, by the way, in case you didn't know. See, Takeru Kobayashi won the contest 6 straight years. Remember when Kobayashi was the man? And it seems so long ago. But it was Kobayashi to beat. And then in 2007, Joey Chestnut shocked the world and beat Kobayashi. And he went on to beat him 2 more times before a contract dispute with Kobayashi in Major League Eating barred him from competing in the event. It's kind of like what the golf is going through right now. Yeah. After taking down Kobayashi in 2007, Chestnut won 8 straight contests. However, to remember this, in 2015, he was beaten by Matthew Stoney. Do you remember that one?
I do. It was a scandal. Mm-hmm.
And what I didn't go to work for like 2 weeks after that.
I think you cried. You wore you wore anti-Stoney shirts. Yeah.
I cried. I pounded the wall. I shat myself a couple of times. Well, no, that was just this week. However,
no, I think that's what they would probably do.
All right. Well, yeah. Chestnut did return to glory in 2016 and has won 6 more straight hot
Wow.
dog eating contests. He will look to win his 7th straight this year and 15th overall, my God, to retain the mustard belt. He is a 3,000 to 1 favorite to win the competition.
Wow.
Last year, Chestnut defeated second place finisher Jeff Esper by a massive amount of 26 hot dogs.
Woo.
So there's an over-under set on the number of hot dogs. Currently at BetMGM, you can bet on whether Chestnut will eat over or under 74.5.
Do you want to make any predictions and then see?
I'm worried this year because
Uh-oh,
of
why?
the foot, because of the age. I'm wondering if he's peaked.
The
Right?
foot?
Because last year he ate 76. Right? And I don't know if he's come up with any new wrinkles, any way to squeeze the dogs tighter or get more water into them when he crushes them into the water cup. I don't know. So I'm wondering if he's going to be, still great, but a little bit past glory. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be. I should look that up. I'm thinking he'll hit about 72, 73, which will be more than enough to win. But I don't see him surpassing because I want him to go for the
I
record.
think he'll be the win. Who will win for the ladies? What will the count be for the ladies?
That is a good question. Let's see if Sugo's on here. Mickey Sugo won her first mustard belt in 2014. The women's competition didn't even start until 2011. But Sugo won in 14 and won 7 straight contests, but did not compete last year because she was preggers. Wow, she gave birth to a sausage. Go for it. No, she's a mom now. Yay.
Did she name her kid Nathan?
Oh, that would be so great. Oh, especially if it were a boy. That would be so lovely. Or Frank.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's odds-on favorite to win on the women's side. Last year, it was Michelle Lesko who won by eating just about 31 hot dogs, which pales in comparison to the 48.5
Oh my God.
that Mickey Sugo ate in 2020. So Lesko and Sugo are going to go head to head.
What's your prediction?
I think Sugo will come and take it. In fact, I think Sugo's going to be like, Sugo will have something to prove. She's going to be like a mom now. She's going to be fierce.
Oh, she's back, yeah.
I think she's going to hit 50, maybe even go to 51. And Lesko will be close, but I think Lesko will be lucky to hit maybe 45. Very lucky.
I couldn't find a hot dog. This is the closest I got.
oh, there you go. Let's see who else. Oh no, that's pretty much.
Maybe I have to look under Frankfurter. Let me see.
Let's see. Oh, let's be frank. Ha. No, did you have a little?
I can't see it. Oh no, it's like a Ferris wheel and knife, and it goes.
And it's funny, I spent so much of my life being against things that are unhealthy for people. I was very anti-drug for, ever since being like a child. But all the way up through my teens, my 20s, my 30s, never tried a marijuana cigarette. I still haven't. Never took any hallucinogenic drugs, never tried anything like that. Was anti-smoking, and even alcohol. If I drink a beer once a month, that is a lot for me. I never liked beer. I never liked the taste of alcohol, let alone what it might do to my body, to my brain cells, to lose control, because I am a control freak. So to lose control of myself is a scary freaking thing for me. So I'm against all these things that are essentially bad for you. And yet, I never had a problem with boxing. Never had a problem watching Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier or Tyson or any of or Sugar Ray Leonard, watching them pummel another person in the ring and make them bleed, and scream for them to do it, and knock him down, now give him a concussion, kill him. It's like, which is a little more dangerous actually, if you think about it, than having a couple of glasses of whiskey. And yet I'm like, yeah. And of course, when it comes to competitive eating, which is really not something you should do, which is not something that's good for your...
Don't they get sick afterward, right? They get very sick afterward, you told me.
Well, they have to either they
Urge.
puke or
Oh.
they'll do the other stuff. I mean, they're not normal for a week after
Mhm.
this. But because they're athletes and because they're specially, I don't know, their bodies work the way they do, they are able to recover. And it isn't suddenly like you eat 75 hot dogs and you gain 8 pounds and keep them on. You eat 75
Yeah.
hot dogs, you gain like 3 pounds momentarily. You lose a pound and a half in the bathroom that night, and then
Mm,
you just go back to normal almost immediately. It's
wow.
weird how that happens, but that's how it is. It's a strange thing. It's sort of like when you go to a wedding or a bar mitzvah, and you eat like a pig because it's all there, and you
Yeah.
figure you're going to gain like 5 pounds. You just from the minute you got there, the
Yeah.
food never stopped. And you're like, oh my god! But
My
it ends up
mom's friend did that. She was the mom's head nurse, and she went back to Jamaica, and she liked a particular type of fruit, and she knew she couldn't get it, so she kept eating the fruit on the way to the airport. And then she
Right.
told my mom, she said when she got on the plane, she was like, "This is not good." Like, this was a mistake. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but she probably had
Anytime
terrible
you gorge.
diarrhea, but was fine a day later.
But
'Cause
anytime you gorge, yeah.
yeah, but it is the weird way the body. You're more likely to keep 5 pounds on or whatever if you're just
Mhm.
eating not well for a couple of days on end, as opposed to having this ridiculous gorge. Your body will kind of reset itself even without cleanses and all that stuff. So, how do
Mm.
you feel about? I know you're not the fan of the sport that I am, dear, but your thoughts on
Mm.
competitive eating and
Like
junk.
if it were Brussels sprouts or broccoli, I'd be down, like if it was like competitive asparagus eating,
But
I'd be there.
all right, well, jokes are well, all right. But let's say, and I'm sure there are, by the way, would that turn you off if someone were shoving broccoli into his mouth and you just saw the green and between his teeth and broccoli like calling out the drool and flying across the room and just more broccoli and broccoli for 10 minutes?
Mm.
Would that turn you off broccoli?
No, I
No.
like broccoli.
Okay, cool. I like hot dogs. It's not as if I'm affected by because some people look at Joey Chestnut and the way he takes the thing, he snaps it.
But he has videos of him eating all sorts of crap,
Oh.
It's not just so he does it. I mean, and I think he had a line of like sauces or something at one point.
Yes. Well, this is how he makes
You know?
6 figures a year. Finally,
Oh
because you
yeah.
don't make big money in competitive eating. This is not like golf. This is not like signing a
Yeah.
baseball contract. This is like going once a year or going to these places and just like gorging on stuff. I still wish
Yeah.
we could do baked beans. That has got to be the best contest to watch and then linger on around afterwards. Like how much tonnage of baked beans can people consume in 5 or 10 or 15 minutes?
But who
Uh,
pays for it? Is it the company that makes the product?
Well, I'm assuming Nathan's hot dogs in this
Yeah,
particular
yeah, yeah,
case.
yeah. I
will
like
be-
the announcer. He's like, coming from East Flatbush is David,
Oh, he's
the
magnificent.
the Prankinator. I like the way that he hypes it.
And it's an acknowledgement that the whole thing is completely absurd.
Yeah, farcical. Yeah.
There's a sport to it, no question. These competitive eaters are doing things to prepare. It isn't
And they
just
make
something out
money, and
there.
they make money. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a real, insane as it is, there's real work involved and seriousness involved. But the whole thing itself is completely mad. And then
Mhm.
it's got that wrestling edge now, where they play the music and the guys come out in costumes and they have the nicknames and the
And they have the
announcer.
people behind them holding the numbers, like the placards with the numbers. Yeah.
Yes, and also the counters.
Yes,
The over
yes.
their shoulders, making sure and counting whether it's a half a dog, 3/4 of a dog, a quarter. Did they leave any over?
Ugh,
Right? Which you're not allowed to.
that's the job I would not want. That is the job I would not want.
And of course, the people who kind of have the buckets for you don't even
Oh,
want.
no, no, no.
The Nathan's hot dog eating contest. It happens this Monday. I believe it's high noon. Live in Coney Island. You can actually go. I have COVID. I'm not, but it's on ESPN TV, and I'm hoping covered live on ESPN's
Mhm.
internet channels. because it's the friggin' Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well,
So,
let's see next week if your predictions come true. I'd be curious to see.
me too. Me too. And next week, hey, we have another brand new live episode of Dave's Gone By coming at you. It will be our 857th show. And we will have a brand new guest for you. In fact, joining us next week. This is kind of neat. She was, or is, a TV news reporter, but has been for many, many years doing local news in New York and New Jersey. Jen Maxfield.
Oh,
Here in New
nice.
York, you know who that is. You
Yes.
remember her.
I know the name from The Crawl, yeah.
Jen Maxfield. And so she's joining us to talk about her years, what it's like to be a local news reporter on TV, to be, have that kind of facial recognizability.
Yeah.
Not to mention this thing of one day you're running to a fire where there's maybe a fatality. Next day you're running to this catastrophe or this car accident. Next day you're doing, a bakery opening in Passaic. And the next day you're off to something else, and how to balance that and create stories and do that. And she has written a really excellent book. It's upstairs. I don't have it with me, but it's a really, really good book about it. I think it should be required reading for any undergraduate taking a journalism class. It's not an academic book or anything like that. It's where she goes back to stories that she covered 20, 30 years ago, her years in the business. And it isn't just like, okay, here's a story I covered and here's what it was about and blah, blah, blah. She's really trying to investigate emotionally what it meant to cover that story and to go back to the people that she interviewed and talked to for maybe half an hour or an hour or hung with for part of a day, did the story, cameraman packed up the stuff, they packed up the gear, got back in the van, put the story together, and then they're gone, right? There's no follow-up with 99% of these things. It's just, thank you, I'm terribly sorry for your loss, and this will be on the news for 2.5 minutes tonight, and good luck to you. And then forgotten. Except sometimes you don't forget these things. And so she went back and was trying to talk to people who were in the midst of this cataclysmic moment, and there they are being interviewed for TV with a camera in their face, and a newswoman dolled up and coiffed up, asking questions, very personal questions, very direct questions, trying to be nice, but also trying to be professional and get the story and get the news, and then go away. And she goes away, and they have to continue on with their lives past this event, past this tragedy, past this. So, there's a 9/11 stories, and there's stories about all sorts of things that happen to people.
Wait, I just got an update.
Oh, yeah?
Hold on. Charlene is shopping for us.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to end the show in a moment or two. But if you want to hear about this book, and if you want to hear about Jen Maxwell, and from her, she will be talking to Rabbi Sal Solomon next Saturday on Dave's Gone By, our 857th episode. And then the week after that, we have a theater photographer, well, a photographer in general, but he's put together a book of photographs and profiles and images of avant-garde theater makers from New York and around the country over the past 20, 25 years. His name is Jim R. Moore, and he himself was once a performance artist too. He will be on our July 16th episode of Dave's Gone By. So you're definitely going to want to tune in every Saturday, 9 to noon or thereabouts, right here on Facebook to Dave's Gone By. If you want to watch our archives, they're at davesgoneby.com. Or you can see them at our Dave's Gone By page at at archive.org, archive.org. So it's the same stuff. It's the interviews, it's the full-length shows. We just love this archive site because they're a nonprofit, and they have all these old radio shows and old TV shows and songs that are in the public domain, just gathering art and literature from decades and centuries ago. We have a channel there, the Dave's Gone By channel on archive.org. I also want to let you know that you can listen to the audio of our shows at castbox.fm. Castbox.fm. Not the video, But every show we've ever done, the audio of it as an MP3 file, it's the easiest way to save the show as a podcast that you can go listen to anywhere, and you don't have to watch me. You just hear my voice and the voice of all our guests. Castbox.fm. Also, if you are in Nassau County and you have Altice Cable, you can go to Channel 20 on Tuesday nights from 9:30 to 10:30 to watch a 1-hour, totally random excerpt of Dave's Gone By, right? Pretty cool. So, we just pluck it, chopped an hour out, like threw it on the air to see if anybody cares. But maybe you will. If you're surfing channels Tuesday nights between 9:30 and 10 p.m., Channel 20 on Altice Cable in Nassau County. Plus, we have a YouTube page, Dave's Gone By, over there. All our shows are there except the ones that are muted because of copyright stuff. Still best to start at davesgoneby.com. And finally, I do want to remind you about davelefkowitz.org. This is a different website, but it's of my writing. So just like Gary Morgenstein, I have plays that I've written. I haven't written novels.
Oh, David, our shopper is the top shopper.
Yeah, baby.
And I wrote and said, please reach out if you have any questions. I have it on my phone, Davey.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
I'm just telling people that they can go to davelefkowitz.org.
How's your site?
My plays, to read my hundreds and hundreds of theater reviews, full-length plays, short plays, my song lyrics, my interviews with people. So yeah, there's a compendium there of about 1,200 items so far. If you want to just get a sense of who I am when I'm not on the air, but I still am being creative. Some of these plays were produced, a lot of them got staged readings, and so forth. And some of the songs were performed in concert and things like that. Check it out, davelefkowitz.org. Well, hun, anything else to add before we table this episode of Dave's Gone By?
No, I'm very grateful that you're healthy, and after your 10 days, I want you to test or whatever it is, and I want to make sure that you're well, and I am very grateful that you're well. That's my main.
Well, thank you, dear. Thank you. I mean, obviously I'm mentally ill, but that's
No, but no, I'm glad that you're well. I'm glad that you're well. That's all that matters to me.
Well, more important, I'm glad you're doing great. Knock wood. So far,
I'm talking to our top shopper on Instacart.
No, because I was in that mode already. After 2.5 years, I was in the mode of, I'm just not going to get COVID. I'm going to still be careful, but, I'm going to wear the mask indoors. But I'm still, if I was meant to get COVID, I would have gotten it by now. Ha, ha, ha. Man tracht, Gott lacht, as Rabbi Saul told, or as Gary Morgenstein told Rabbi Saul. Out of nowhere,
What a great
I was fine, and then Sunday afternoon.
Are you drinking your water and you're drinking the tea and honey, the coffee and honey? We'll get a lot of good. You'll get some oranges and some good yummies from the Instacart.
Yeah. I got penicillin coming, and I have Pavloxid on the way. And what else do I have? I've got a ton of opioids.
Yes, but that's your normal. David, that's your normal Instacart. That's the normal. That's Costco.
I've got a tub of heroin that's waiting in the driveway.
No.
Just saying. So I will be fine, God willing. I hope you're all fine too. I hope you all have a wonderful fourth. Well, everybody except 5 justices on the Supreme Court. Everybody else.
David, there's a great. I sent it. I liked it on Facebook. It shows one animal under the bed, one like a dachshund under the bed, a shepherd under the cover, a cat hiding in its little container. And it's like, to everybody who's doing fireworks, please stop. And it's from an animal thing saying that all the animals are very sensitive. And the ones like, I think I peed myself. And the other one said, me too. The other one said, me too. And the other one said, uh-oh.
No, I'll say that, if the fireworks are pretty, if they go up in the air and they do sparkly things and different colors and they don't make a big noise, God bless you. Stay safe. It's nice to see. It really is. But if you're just there to make fucking loud noises, if it's just to go boom and scare the shit out of everybody and set car alarms off, and
I see that, like, we've seen this many times because we're living in the pandemic. so many people are just so frustrated. If they can go out and do something that makes noise legally, they're happy. They're like,
Well, that's
whoa,
me.
I can do stuff like a crazy person.
I'm so frustrated in my life that I come on here for 3
Yeah.
hours
Yeah.
a week and make my noise this way.
Yes.
And that gets out what I have to get out. And sometimes I go over the
Yeah.
line. Sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And
It's
other times
therapy.
it's
It's
joy.
therapy. But I think for people, it's like, it's like when you give people, like, people who've never lived alone or never lived without supervision, sometimes when they do, they go crazy
Right.
and then they self-regulate. So I think like people are like, we're tired of it. If I can go in the street and make a loud noise and not blow my fingers off, they're happy.
I
It's
get
not
it.
something I would do, but I think that's what people feel. People are just frustrated. So it's just, you want people to be safe. You don't want people to get hurt. You don't want people to damage other people's property. And for everybody with a pet, get a thunder vest or play like a
Well, no,
white
but that's
noise
where
or
we
some kind
differ.
of, yeah.
But this is where we differ, hon. I want
Yeah.
people who are just there to make loud, scary noises. I want them to get hurt. I
Oh,
want them to lose fingers. That's the difference.
you need some therapy, honey.
I guess I do.
You need some like, we need to we need to get you some, we gotta look into the HMO again.
Yes, like if you come into my store and you shoplift,
I don't have
yeah,
a store.
I will cut your arm off. Or I hope you
David,
won't. Yeah.
David,
What?
honey.
Am I being really?
I
All right.
think you're
A
I
finger.
think you're being extreme.
Am I? Am
I
I?
think you need to dial 1-800 I need therapy or something.
I think I need an ice cream cone is what I need.
Oh,
Anyway, have a wonderful most
David, listen, after the food comes, I'll put it away and then we can go to the park and see if you can, with the N95s, walk in 6 feet, we can see if we can find the ice cream man.
ice cream man.
Or if there was
is
ever a
in
time, if
town.
there was ever a time when Ralph's was less crowded, the tropical ice place or whatever.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, it's my with COVID, I can't freaking do anything or go in anywhere. So if we can just grab a little.
Well,
treat
I'll
for
give
me.
you an update.
Yeah.
Charlene found the pear, the apple, the oranges, the cucumber, the blueberries, and the tomatoes. So dollars to donuts, she's probably in the produce aisle.
I guess she must be. Well, this would be the time if you can think of anything else, babe. So if there's
No,
any
I'm
other
good.
item you want, no, what do you call that? Radish stuff, not radish,
No,
cabbage.
I want to go through the salad stuff we have and just make a salad and see what's there.
Okay.
As long as you got the blueberries, she got them. Thank you, Charlene, for getting the blueberries.
We'll toss her a salad later. There you go. All right, my love, and
I'm
all right.
eating a salad while Kobayashi is downing the hot dog.
That's right. I will be eating
And
something
she
else.
just got lettuce. Thank you, Charlene.
Let us thank her for that. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the 856th episode of Dave's Gone By. We've been calling it Cookie Puss for a black and white cookie. And our guest, Gary Morgenstein. Our thanks to Rabbi Saul, to David Sheward, to Leslie Hoban Blake, to my wonderful and amazing wife, Joyce. Be with us next Saturday, which will be July 9th, 2022, for episode 857.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Of Dave's Gone By. Happy 4th, and there goes the Daverhood.
Dave's gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by.
Joey Chestnut.
Oh.
Huh? I don't know how that probably didn't come out too well. See you next week.